Hey, we got numbers. Hey, welcome to Cleveland Moto Podcast number 484. Light them up, boys. All mine does is...
I know mine cracked already.
Tinkle, tink.
Oh, I love the tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. I like when you made those Unky Full podcasts and we gave my... when you literally turned the sound of the rocks in my glass.
Oh, we have to do the...
into a beat.
We have to do the, what you call it, fireside chat again, where you're just sitting there with the bourbon in your hand and you read from the book.
Oh, yeah. That was
I'll get in the warm and feelies all over again. That's my favorite part of
Christmas special. Yeah.
Again, all those podcasts that we did, the fireside, I just love them so much.
Yeah.
And tonight, folks, to my immediate left, we have...
Adam DeLellis.
Adam, where are you from, son?
I'm from New Jersey.
And to his left, we have...
Steve Sleepy.
And to his left,
Johnny McElfresh.
and to his left,
Chris Smith.
and behind the bar tonight,
Tom Pennington.
yay, it's a Cleveland Moto podcast. Last week we went live. You know that if you were there. Yay. We had shockingly for our inaugural voyage, we had a lot of chat going on and you were participating.
Oh, yeah, I was chiming in.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And we did talk about, like, at the Patreon level, we do want to make sure that people understand that you can have your voice heard, and Adam's here today, proving that, in fact, a human voice, a Patreon member does exist. One.
I am the proof in the pudding.
Adam also asked to say that he did not come with a gun and hold us, at bay to be on the podcast.
No.
Oh.
I was informed to say that everybody is safe and nothing bad will happen.
It is better than that. What did Adam bring?
Oh, he brought a bottle, didn't he?
He brought a bottle.
Hey, hand the bottle over to me because I love reading bottles.
Yeah.
Dan's not here, so I get to read a bottle. Oh, this is murder bourbon. Straight bourbon whiskey. Kicking around 1 Hondo proof. Nice. Very nice
No
cask
C-aging.
strength.
So not only does he give us money,
Milk Street
he brings us
Distillery.
bourbon.
Yeah, Milk Street Distillery.
Adam, what brings you to Cleveland?
My cousin's getting married, and I flew in for the wedding, which is tomorrow, and couldn't pass up the opportunity to invade.
What's the wedding party doing tonight?
I'm sorry?
What's the wedding party doing tonight?
Oh, they're at the rehearsal dinner, which I Irish goodbye from.
Nice.
All right, he gets extra bonus points there.
Now, do you think you would have actually even came to the wedding if you didn't know that you were going to be able to come on the podcast?
I'm going to tell you that was a fair determination.
You would have
whether or
sent a
not I
card
was
with
coming or
$200
not.
in it and been like,
Yeah, congratulations, guys.
Buy yourselves a toaster.
buy your way out of that shit. It is going... I'm not joking, not even one little bit, when I tell you that when Adam showed up today, we were kind of we were talking about stuff at the shop, kind of going through different podcast stuff and everything else. It does remind me that there are human beings outside of our basement that need to listen to this. And it is tough when you get to go like, oh, wait, there's people out there that we care about that are actually throwing this shit back, like at their work day. What do you do for a living?
So I'm a field service mechanic for heavy equipment. I work for United Rentals.
Yay.
And you guys are in my truck all the time.
So do you have a dually?
Yeah.
Do you have an F350
I got a
or
Chevy
higher?
6500.
Whoa!
Which rides like a covered wagon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need kidneys in the next 3 years.
Okay.
The old buckboard.
So here's the test.
Like a covered wagon.
Counting the doors that the human beings enter and exit from, how many doors are on your truck?
To enter and exit from.
I mean, counting those, all the little doors.
All the little doors. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I know, right?
We're talking
Service vehicles are
16,
complicated.
something like that.
16
just about
doors.
16 doors, yeah.
16 doors. Is your service truck equipped with a welder?
Yes.
Is your service truck equipped with an air compressor over 40 gallons?
Yes.
Ah!
Be honest, which one has the weed in it?
Yes.
Does your service truck have diesel for the vehicle you're not driving?
Yes, it does.
Fuck yeah, dude.
yeah.
That's the real deal.
Yeah.
Well done.
Sometimes it has diesel for the furnace in the house, too. You know, every now and then.
Hey, if the customer pays for it.
Yeah.
Right, that's great.
It's billed.
So do you do like the GLG lifts? Do you do all the...
All the big lifts.
GLG, sorry. Yeah.
Scissors, anything from a pressure washer all the way up to a giant excavator.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. How do you feel about skid steers?
I don't like working on them, that's for sure.
How many times have you had to rescue somebody from a piece of equipment they rented they probably shouldn't have?
It's usually when that happens, like it's like a homeowner who rents it, it's almost catastrophic every time I show up. Usually it's on its side or it's upside down. Like they really try. Like it takes a lot of effort to do the things they do.
What is the chief culprit? Is it mini excavators? What is it?
Yeah, mini X's. Because they're like, oh, let me climb to the top of this pile and scoop some dirt. And while I'm doing it, I'll go on the side at a 30-degree angle. Nothing bad will happen to me.
Every time I watch a mini X video, that's some like homeowner who's just setting up a camera in his backyard. It's like, watch me do this thing. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, you're trying to like yell at the guy through the YouTube.
Yeah.
And, just like,
and meanwhile, a trained operator can put that thing in the back of the trailer with no ramp, right? People that know what they're doing are magical with equipment.
Yeah, it's like an extension of their body.
It is. They
crazy.
can pick up a nickel. Yeah. It's fine. However, the general public, the people you're dealing with.
The people who rent... We're not shy. We'll take anyone's money.
Dave Matheson says, getting to disgruntled Patreon members working on bites tonight by chance? Probably not Dave Matheson.
Is Dave Matheson?
Yeah. Is this still the same?
Podcast?
Is this still the same problem we've been?
He sent us one. He sent us
7 times.
Okay, just so we can be clear, just so we can make. I'll be legit. Matt Davidson is one of our favorites. He's one of our favorite dudes ever. We love him dearly. He sent us a great message the other day, and I've been saving it. So we'll see. We got a list to go through. If we can get to Matt Davidson's, he sent us a great email.
Is it Matt Davidson or Dave Matheson?
Well, Dave Matheson's the guy we like.
Okay.
No, come on. All right. You know, if you listen to the podcast, we absolutely do fuck with some people, but they do fuck with us right back. So it's all right.
Look.
He's achieved a level of Patreon support that is higher than anybody out there.
We all like the fucking.
We do. We all like us some good fucking. When that whole idea of being a mechanic, you're like, oh, I'm a mechanic. I can work on shit. That's good. That's great. I'm a mechanic. I can work on the car I own. That's brilliant.
I never get to work on the car I own.
Exactly.
I'm a mechanic.
The next level of mechanic is I'm a mechanic. I have to work on other people's shit.
Yeah.
That's the next level of mechanic. The next level of mechanic is I have to work on shit that people that use don't know how it works. Oh, God. And then the higher level of mechanic about that is military. Because the only higher level than you, literally, the people that are using the equipment are not trained operators.
Yes, they're not at all.
They don't know.
We'll take your money, but good luck on figuring everything else out.
I recently rented a skid steer and I beat that fucker like it was owed me money. Like,
it's a rental.
I'm like, I tore down trees and stuff. I was back in the back part and there was like these vines and I was like hooking them and just wrapping them around it and spinning around till it pulled a tree down on top of me. And then I backed up and ran over it. It was awesome.
Just use the track to clear barbed wire.
Oh, whatever.
It's just not mine. It's just like every tool is a hammer.
Every tool is a hammer.
Brave enough.
Yeah. You know, the most miserable person in the world has to be like a mechanic at Enterprise.
They dropped it off. I had 8 hours. That thing didn't stop.
No, it's, and you know, coming out of the military and sort of dealing with our guys in BMO, Battalion Maintenance Organization, and you're like, oh, you guys are tankers. You're trained. We are trained extensively about what to do and what not to do on the vehicles. Absolutely. Nobody can fuck up a day worse than a private. A 19-year-old kid can screw up. Seriously, can't pour piss out of a boot if the instructions are printed on the heel. They will figure out a way to destroy a $3 million piece of taxpayer equipment. That has been designed to not be fuckwithable. And yet I watched these guys show up all the time. They'd show up in an M88, which is a tracked recovery vehicle that is moderately bulletproof, but it's basically an RV. And these guys show up with all their tools and a very, very bad attitude about life in general, because we done broke something that is literally not breakable. And these guys are like, how did you even figure out a way to break that?
What's the old adage? You know, you could figure out how to break an anvil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for real. And all the guys that come out of the military that worked in BMO and battalion maintenance when those guys come out and you're like, oh, today you've got a job. We're going to hire you to work with these guys from this crew on this road site or this whatever. You can't scare those dudes. They've seen it all.
What's the biggest breaker bar you've ever had to use?
Biggest breaker bar?
Yeah, because I know on some of that big shit they got bolts like that.
And some of that stuff's torqued to like 400 plus foot pounds.
Oh yeah.
Oh geez.
Yeah, usually get the 6-foot breaker bar and then the 12-foot cheater pipe. And,
Yep.
and then pray that you don't hit yourself in the teeth with it.
And then just hook them to each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then hook them to each other.
yeah,
And then
dude,
get the crane off
Milwaukee-
the truck to yank it up.
Milwaukee just sent us at Summit. Justin had it. Fucking. It's for truck drivers.
Yeah.
It's a Milwaukee like.
Oh yeah,
like
I've seen this video.
88 volt. I don't know. It's like
Oh, it's
48 volt
ridiculous.
times 2, whatever the fuck that is.
Okay.
96 volt, and it's an 1.5 fucking drive.
You should
in.
have to drive
I've-
torque wrench.
Yeah, dude. And it's like it comes with like 2, but with a third possible handle.
Yeah.
So I
Because
get
it
it.
will
You
rip
have
your
a
entire-
left hand and you have a right hand.
Yep.
Where does the third handle go?
Between your knees.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah,
You know,
it's-
having talked
So
to
that is
somebody.
a true inch
like
and a
that's
half nut
probably
fucker.
break your fucking arms if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having dealt frequently with somebody who deals with very large trucks.
Yeah, I get it.
I
Yeah.
see these videos because all this stuff goes into my feed because I stand around people who deal with trucks all the freaking time.
Right, yeah.
And so Instagram and Facebook are like, you might like this video. And I've seen exactly what he's talking about. It's free. It is literally, almost a NASCAR.
Here, I thought you guys just sat around and jerked each other off with fifth wheel grease. I didn't think it went any deeper than that. I just figured that was it.
Rob 2TK from
It's Tuesday.
San Diego.
That's new.
Hey.
He checking in with us.
Hey,
he
yeah.
can't quite drink with us yet. He's got to work 2 more hours.
I told Tom he was in charge of watching these, and it
Well,
clearly
that literally just popped up, and Johnny Mac caught it on the fly.
he got it like
Ooh,
a
you know,
fucking
and the
seagull
fact that
on a
he-
French fry.
And the fact that somebody is working for another 2 hours and can't drink on the job means they need a different job.
I like this. This is a good, healthy competition, which means that we're going to get a better experience.
Hey, if Johnny Mac
Yeah.
wants it, I'm going to let him have it.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Sleepy.
I'm Team Johnny Mac.
You know what? I'm Team Johnny Mac.
Can't accept defeat like that, Tom.
Oh, yes. Don't you dare give that.
I got loyalty, man.
Don't you give
I
up
got
that.
loyalty.
Don't you give up that.
He's
sin,
got
son.
he's got the age and the wisdom
My goodness.
And the looks.
and the looks.
So, you know what's weird? So, because we're doing this live, I went ahead on the podcast Facebook group today, and I put the show notes up, knowing that these pinnacles of society.
There we go.
Honestly, only the finest and longest members, longest duration members
Right.
of our podcast
They
would go
last
there
the longest.
and they would literally look at our Facebook page for ClevelandMoto Podcast, and they would know in advance what we're going to be talking about. So they're standing by, prepared to chime in at any moment when we get something wrong.
He only took tips.
And I think that when it came right down to it, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know if it's a good idea giving everybody the keys to the castle.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be good. In fact, I'm also willing to believe that there are people out there that are waiting for us to slip up
Yep.
so they can put on their white hat and show us a thing or two.
I don't want to see any. Okay, I don't want to see a whole lot of people's penises.
I don't think they have the ability to do that, do they? I don't know. Let's
Maybe
find out
not on this.
Let's find out if somebody has the ability to send us a dick pic through the chat.
Right.
Right. I mean, the only people are going to know are the people here right now.
They
So-
could go to the tompennington@gmail.com folder, right?
Well, I was thinking about Sleepy's OnlyFans. His Discord, his secret Discord server.
Send all your complaints to motorcycles and misfits at gmail.com, right? That's how it works, right?
So how about those new that new KLE 500?
Yeah. It's like Johnny Mac read the notes.
God, I love it when you understand the assignment. It makes me so happy. It's so cool.
And it's the E or the L? What is it? The 500?
KLE, not a KLR.
Yeah, right. E.
Yeah, KLE.
It's
I
the one that
wonder-
we usually don't get here.
I wonder
right?
why you've never heard of it.
Because it's not usually here.
Because we are not worthy.
Right.
Much like the KLX.
Again, we're still not worthy?
Well, we weren't in this case. That's for damn sure.
Right.
Right. So I really do.
We suck.
Long and short of it is this: that for
You
a
keep
very
showing me that picture of that Figaro. I'm going to have to buy one. Your Nissan keeps popping up.
okay. Well, anyway, so that's real. That's the thing that's happened is that in the European market since 1991.
Yeah.
They've been able to buy Ninja 500 / Vulcan 500 parallel twin liquid cooled motor.
Do you think it's the same motor out of the old EX 500?
I do.
It's the exact same motor.
That's how they got through emissions.
Dude, that bike, right? My buddy, when I had my Honda Hurricane 600, he had the original EX 500. And it sounded like a fucking lawnmower. Like the original one was joking. Bad, dude.
The worst Vulcan ever produced was the EX500 Vulcan.
Yeah.
The 500 Vulcan.
But it's still the best one ever produced.
But it's the best one ever produced. So
it's the same motor as the Ninja 500. It's beautiful.
It is a sensory deprivation cruiser. It has the wrong number of cylinders. Oh, I'm sorry. It has the right number of cylinders and the wrong configuration, surrounded by water, in the power band that only works in a light sport bike.
But we have said that the best configuration today is a dual cylinder water cooled motor.
It was the most efficient.
Time.
Right,
it was ahead of its time.
I had a customer at my shop that was very much not ready for prime time. He was not ready for a big cruiser. He had a scooter and he was really good with that. He was a Navy veteran CB. He was 131 years old, and he was one of the most absolute straight up delightful guys I'd ever met in my life. Okay.
Which is weird that every CB is like 130.
Scott from
Harley Bob's
Moto Adventures says he misses his small ninja.
He does. He misses small ninjas.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
And Kevin Nixon, my buddy, had like 4 of those at one point. He was using them for track bikes.
EX 500 Ninjas.
I'm not saying they were a bad bike. I'm just saying they sounded like a fucking lawnmower. Right. Like it was really funny.
Because sensory experience was not part of the design guide at all.
We just want to, I mean,
right.
Let's go back to your CB first, because we're getting off track.
What?
Well, your CB.
What I'm saying is Mr. Tolhurst, in his declining years, in the twilight of his life, really decided he wanted to have a cruiser. Yeah. And after being around him for a while, I went, you know what you need? The least likely cruiser to hurt you. And since you want to go on the freeway, I cannot recommend a Rebel 250.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said, if we can find you a Vulcan 500, I think we should buy you one. And we did. We found him one. And it's not like they hold their value, because they don't.
No.
Right.
But they never get lower than $1,200.
They're perpetually used, and they're perpetually about $1,600.
Yeah.
And we found him one, and he proceeded to farkle the fuck out of that thing. Yep. He put every, Bagger Brothers Incorporated, Willie and Max, he loaded that thing up to do cross-country travel.
Yep.
In Argentina, they call the EX500 the Singer.
What?
I don't know if that's because
I did not know about that.
For the Singer sewing machine?
Probably a sewing machine.
Or because it sings a song as it rides.
Again, it's Argentina.
Yeah.
But
I did not see that coming.
You ever be on a ride or something, you look over at a gas station, and there'll always be that dude that has like the whole bike. It looks like it's like a fucking giant Harley bagger, and it looks like it's done like 200,000 miles, and the dude is completely decked out in like hardcore biker gear, and it's like a 250.
It's a Virago 250.
Oh no, my favorite.
On, man.
My favorite was I had this guy who literally was 2 days older than dirt, and I'm not lying. And he had a V9 2C Victory. And it had everything you could buy to put on it, but like everything from the discount clearance aisle of like parts of Advanced Auto Parts. It was hysterical. But like,
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say those guys just go crazy, but they're perfect. Like they have every trucker light on them. They have like the mud flap girls and stuff. It's just great.
The power band.
The Singer is from the sewing machine.
It is. Oh. Wow, man. That's so funny that an Argentinian marketing department said, do you know what we're going to emulate? Another company's product. Right. That is exactly
I'm not sure that the company did that. He said that the nickname for it.
Oh, it was a nickname.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
John, why am I monitoring this? You're on top of this more than I am.
Is that motor the successor to the 454?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think they're in the same wheelhouse.
Same motor.
The 454 went away in the 500 Vulcan show.
Came in, right?
What was the 454 LTD? I had that one, which you could not run without the special airbox. And
yes, they ran horribly. I learned that the hard way.
Yep.
They did. Yeah, they did. So at EICMA, we'll be talking about EICMA a little bit. If
so many bikes released.
Yeah.
Milan.
So many bikes we're not going to get.
So I take issue with this. I mean, what the fuck is that?
Okay, so what John's pointing to, and you probably can't see, is a picture taken from the.
That's the Kawasaki KLR 650 new model for the campers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what Kawasaki decided to do, because the motorcycle's not quite ready to be released to the public yet, what Kawasaki decided to do was to take the motorcycle and put it in a box.
I've seen this before. Usually it's not a.
Look at they just put the tip in. Just to give it a little taste.
Okay.
The Kawasaki Winnebago.
Kawasaki was not fucking around.
That's that parallel twin with that stupid ass exhaust pipe with the S bend.
Yes.
So Kawasaki put the bike in a box to hide all the parts they're worried about CF Moto stealing.
Right.
That's why they put it in a box.
Except for CF Moto is building that bike for them. So
no, they're not.
Oh.
Unless you have facts to back that up, this is not the time to say such a thing.
This is just speculation.
Right. Yeah, that is the worst form of speculation.
We got to start saying, what is it? The opinions and such of Tom do not necessarily
reflect the opinions of the ClevelandMoto podcast. So as it happens to turn out, a lot of times at EICMA, when a company comes out with a really cool product that's groundbreaking, earth-shattering, and super cool, if you really get your model beyond the clay stage and you actually build it up and you got a working prototype, what they call a phase 0 prototype, you bring it out to a show called EICMA in Milan because it's early in the season. Motorcycle shows in the United States tend to be later in the season, January, February. EICMA's early in the game, October. Okay. And if you are bold enough and brave enough to bring your working prototype, your phase 0 prototype out to EICMA and let the sun shine on it and let journalists have an entire day to take pictures of it and measurements and shit like that and scan it with laser 3D scanners, then I assure you, in less time than it takes you to get this product to production through EPA or whatever testing, the Chinese will have it out.
Oh, yeah.
For half of the money you're charging.
Yeah.
And you will get fucked with your own design. And congratulations, good job you went to EICMA with something that wasn't literally on the market yet, and you just lost that market. It happened to Honda more than once. Dude, and so Honda got careful about it.
In the RC industry, like the radio control industry, when in the 10 years I was in that industry, you would see the same thing, like this brilliant airplane designer, like he'd leave like some fucking job at NASA and take his life savings and get with a dude, and they'd fucking send this design in and it would get stolen and then sold for $300 a pop on eBay, you know? And everybody be like, oh my God, the horror. And it's like, this is a lesson to the industry. Don't let this. And like within 3 days, it was like such and such has a new airplane coming out. And then 2 days later, it was like a copy of it. It was like every 2 years the cycle would hit. And you're just like, how can these people do the same fucking thing over and over and over? And they always did.
When you successfully punch Honda Motor Company in the dick, everyone else will pay attention.
Oh, I'm sure.
When Honda loses $39 million, everyone else will pay attention. And many years ago, Honda showed up at EICMA with a sweet-ass little scooter called the Honda Joker.
Oh, God.
And long before Honda could get their...
Can I see the Joker?
What?
I want to see the Joker.
Oh,
the Honda Joker.
I'll do that for you, buddy.
Thank you.
So the little Honda Joker scooter was not like any other scooter that had been produced to this point. The Honda Joker scooter was different. It was special.
It was no joke.
And when I pull this up and I throw this on the screen, everybody's going to go, I know that bike.
I know that bike.
Okay. But what you don't know, though, that bike is a Honda Joker.
Right.
You never got to work on one, Tom, that had a Joker badge on it.
Nope, I have never worked on a Honda Joker.
You never got to work on one that had a Honda Shadow badge on it. Because believe it or not, in the Japanese market, this little bitch was not called Honda Joker. It was called Honda Shadow.
Yep.
So here we are. So when we have that situation, when we kind of think like, we're like, oh, you know, Honda's pretty good at understanding the market. Honda's pretty good at being a motorcycle developer and a manufacturer, right? Honda's been doing this for a day or two. This was the point where Honda realized that they were no longer the first dog
He
in the
fucked
sled
up.
dog race.
I've worked on so many copies of this bike,
So
but I will also say I would love to have a real Honda Joker,
but you can't.
but I can't.
Okay. So this is the problem.
What happened?
China. So what happened in this particular instance? Make sure that's showing up there for the folks at home.
Yep.
What happened in this particular instance was they showed up at the motorcycle show. They showed up with this bike. It was a Phase Zero prototype. It was about to happen.
Yep.
And the Chinese were all there with their cameras. And the Chinese had managed to get this bike to production before Honda could get this bike through EPA and DOT and European TÜV testing, etc.
Yep.
Now, that's a problem. And the problem for that is when Honda came into the market with their 50cc or 125cc bike at $4,000, they were competing with 6 different Chinese companies that had the bike out at $1,299. And because the bike is distinctive looking, they were fucked. Because everyone went, why should I buy that bike from Honda when I can buy that bike from any goddamn buddy else for half or a third the money? And that's where the fail point comes in.
We currently have in our hallway
It tried to kill Stumpy John.
the BMS Heritage, which is a pattern copy of the Honda Joker.
So the reason you've never seen this bike at your Honda shop, your Honda dealer, your whatever, okay?
So it never went into production.
It did go into production,
Yeah.
but because they had sunk costs. So they had sunk costs. They'd done the tooling. They'd done the work. They'd done the research and development. They'd done the market surveys. They'd done all the stuff. They'd done everything they needed to do to bring this bike out. And the problem was a bunch of Chinese guys with cameras went, we have a way to sneak a motor that we've already paid for underneath that bodywork.
Yep.
And it came out from no less than 4 manufacturers at the same time. And believe me, those guys had my phone number.
Yep.
And I could buy that bike from any one of 4 different guys for $999 my cost. When the Hondas were hitting the markets in Europe, begging for people to give them $3,000 and $4,000 for them.
So I've worked on this bike as a BMS, a tank, a red streak,
TNG Lowboy.
fly scooter, a TNG Lowboy, and I think that's I've worked on a couple of other odd, like off-brand, but they're usually all Zenens or Bashan or something like that. And this is all the same bike. It's all GY6 powered 125 or 150s, and it's all the same.
But if you want to lose a lot of respect in my shop, say the word GY6 and not know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Because I'll be happy to tell any single one of you. You come into my shop and be like, well, you know, it's a GY6 motor. Cool. I'll give you 90 seconds. Tell me what a GY6 motor is. And I guarantee you're fucking wrong. Because if you come in and be like, oh, you know, we took my Honda Grom and we put a Fling Poo GY6 motor under it. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I can show you what a GY6 motor is. I know what a Honda GY6 motor is. All the motors that are out there that you all are calling GY6 motors are not Honda GY6 motors.
It's the same with a QMB.
It is literally you going, if it's soft and I can wipe boogers off my face, it's Kleenex.
Yep.
But it ain't.
You cannot Xerox a Xerox.
Exactly. So let's go back to the next one. Do you know who, in my opinion, was the worst asshole who stole the Honda Joker?
No.
The Aprilia Habana.
Yep.
Because in this particular instance, the theft...
The Aprilia Habana and the Aprilia Mojito.
It's the same thing, yeah, right.
Well, the handlebar is the only difference.
Right, exactly. The Habana in particular is another pattern copy, again, photo representation of the Honda Joker / Shadow. And it does me no fun to say, like, in case you thought that the Chinese were the evil ones, well, it turns out that the folks over in Italy were just as guilty. And they stole that bike. And going back to this whole thing about motorcycle shows, going about with who did what. Is the Kawasaki EN500 built by CF Moto? Is it built by somebody else? Well, guess what? We're not going to know about that right away. I mean, it's ugly, but it's true that these things, this stealing from each other is so lucrative. It is such a big deal that a company like Honda came to the they showed up and they did what they're supposed to do. They're going to tell you about a new product they have. But the long and short of it is, by showing you the new product, they got fucked by it.
Yep.
Now, you want to know why Kawasaki puts their bike in a box. It's exactly that. Because they don't want to have a $37 million loss by getting second to the market with something they designed.
And looking at going back to can you get back to the picture?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and pull that up
of the KLR, because let's stay on topic.
Yep. As we do. Yep.
But looking at that picture, what you're literally seeing is just forks and a front fender and a 21-inch wheel.
And I think they're showing you exactly the part of the motorcycle they needed to show you.
Yeah. What else do you need?
I mean,
well, you can look through there. You
They're
can
just
kinda
telling
see
you
the
it's
motor.
Kawasaki's 10RA700.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks exactly like it could be a desert sled. It could be a 10 ray. It could be anything.
So what do you know? You know it's 500cc.
And it's going to look like a dead porpoise.
I like those cool graphics.
And it's a parallel twin. It is best we can tell, unless it's a 4-valve.
It's probably going to be a great fucking bike.
Well, I mean,
you know,
it's going to be a CBR 500X.
Yeah. Basically.
I wonder if it's a 270 crank.
Exactly. That's another good question. So what they're showing you, in my opinion, what they're showing you is exactly what they need to show you. That in 2007 or whatever, that was when they killed off the KLE 500.
Right.
And what they've said is the money's in the mid-range. We all know that. The money's in the mid-range. Now, what McElfresh should be screaming right now is, why isn't this a 650?
Well, because they already have one.
Right.
Do they have a KLE 650?
I don't.
But here's something I just thought of, right? So they're showing the front part-ish of the bike, right? Mm-hmm. And so the Chinese or whoever can look and see that it's pretty much the standard fare for pretty much every adventure bike out there.
They know what motor's in there.
So they changed something. There's something that they're hiding that's going to change the look of what adventure we know. I think that's what it is. But like, seriously, it's going to be some kind of.
Hey, John, what do you want to bet? It's just a Versys underneath that box.
No, they did something different, man. Like something like I just hit me like it's not going to just be a small change in like a panel.
I mean, it might be what people would like, or what I would like, for it to be like a KLR 650 twin. So and that's going to be a KLE 500.
You know, you might have something there if they finally change the KLR 650 into a dual twin cylinder.
Hey, John, how many horsepower does a KLR 650 have?
I don't know. Like
10,
40, 36,
15.
I mean, not a lot.
6.5.
Back in year of our Lord 1991, the KLE 500 had 48.
Yeah,
that's more.
Yeah.
How many torques does a KLR 650 have?
I don't know.
All
31. Okay. The KLE 500 in year of our Lord 1990 whatever had 40. So the KLE parallel twin 500 has been outperforming a KLR 650 for going on 30 goddamn years now. Okay. So the only thing that here in the United States that we have that would compete with those exact numbers has been things like the V-Strom 650.
Yeah.
And we have a Versys, but a Versys has 17-inch wheels. You know, a Versys, a KLE 650 would probably make everybody really happy because that would be the KLR 650 twin that we've been asking for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But if we look at even a 20-year-old or 30-year-old KLE 500, its actual production horsepower and torque was such that it did outperform many of the Triumph Scrambler 400s. All of this whack, I mean, we talked about last week, the baker's dozen of the 350s and 400s that are out there right now that every manufacturer is leading hard into. Can you blame Kawasaki for going, you know what's better than a 400? Well, I'll buy a 500.
All right, Mike.
But you know what?
Hang on. Mike Waddle on the chat says technically the Versys 650 is the KLE 650.
I never said KLE.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
just saying he's reporting in.
I get it.
He's got a good point. Maybe that was
right.
They had the old 91 KLE 600.
Right.
They bored it out, and that's what eventually became the versys.
But the guys that really want that, like, there's a thread on Adventure Rider where like these guys have been making. I forget the guy's name now.
They're in New Zealand.
Gravel grinder.
Oh no, those are
the gravel grinder guy, or whatever. But they take that, that engine. They take a different swing arm. They use different forks. So they're making basically the twin KLR 650. Actual good motor can last for 42 billion miles. Off-road bike.
Yeah.
So. My point in all this is Kawasaki is doing something. They're returning to the crypt, right? The KLE 500 that we never got here. And, when you're looking at the versys, the L model, the LT 650, when you're looking at that bike, its 17-inch front wheel really does prevent it from being a bike that you could use as an adventure bike or whatever, right? I'm happy to see a 500cc from Kawasaki in a parallel twin liquid-cooled configuration. I'm really happy to see it.
I figured it out.
And that's a 21-inch front wheel, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a big wheel. I figured it out.
Yeah.
It's a 3-seater.
It's a 3-seater.
I mean, what are they going to do with this thing that you can't hide the plastics on it? There's
something different,
giant alien tank that like wraps around your head. There's an airbag on it.
No, but think about it. Like, I'm sure, like when Svitfillen or whatever the fuck those
Svartpillen.
when they were about to drop those, I'm sure that they tried to keep that under wraps because that's like they were trying to change the look of motorcycles. You know what I mean?
And whether you love it or hate it, they did.
I really do. The Svartpillen, what was it? The Svartpillen and there's another one. Vitspillen.
Yeah.
They actually.
The gold arrow and the silver arrow.
They actually look really cool. And the CF Moto that Sleepy jerks off to every night before he goes to bed with that dual headlight is similar in its design. And they look really, really cool.
Wait,
I can tell you something, guys.
I love the look of the old one.
That's what's not under the box.
Oh, a Transalp?
No. A KLE 500.
I mean, it looks
Fuck. Why don't we ever get that?
I mean, it looks like a Transalp.
Well, we haven't gotten that since 1991, Sleepy.
Oh, man.
We've never gotten that.
That's what I'm saying. I said, why don't we got that?
Because they decided we shouldn't get that. All right.
Because of you, Sleepy.
That probably was.
They intentionally hate you.
They intentionally decided that we shouldn't get that bike.
That looks like a Yamaha I dumped at Barber a couple of years ago.
It's a TDM 500.
TDM 500,
right?
Totally.
850.
Okay. It's a TDM 500 parallel twin.
With their seating fucking jet ski seat.
But what I can promise you is this. That 19-inch front wheel and 17-inch rear wheel or whatever that configuration is, that's what's not under the box.
No.
That's what's not under
Look
the
how
box.
short that swing arm is, too. That motherfucker's like...
Yeah, that's what's not under the box. Now, I will be happy to show you what I kind of hope is under the box, but I know it's not under the box. And I'll show you guys this because I love you and I want you to have funny dreams.
Murder. That's what's under the box.
All right. Are you ready?
Box.
Oh, man. I'm so happy I'm going to do this. Sleepy's going to just make some noise.
Oh.
So that's what's probably under the box.
Oh, the KTM? Oh. That's a KTM Adventure.
Those are Yamahas, aren't they?
Are they?
No, those are Kawasaki KLE 650s that are done by a mad genius in New Zealand who literally makes a motorcycle that uses the KLE 650 the KLE 500 motor.
And that weird ass KTM preferring apparently.
That's just a tower. That's a rally tower, dude.
It's a rally tower.
Oh yeah.
So, but here's my point. What's under the box is not what you saw behind curtain number 1.
Hey, no.
What's behind curtain number B is probably something that looks a little more like this.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Which is the true Perry Dakar built to do the job.
Well, and it would be their answer to Honda's CRF fucking rally or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh,
that they
no.
haven't talked. Like Kawasaki's watched that fucking thing sell for how many years now?
Yeah.
All right, hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Oh, now I'm excited.
Bring it on, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you a little upset because this came in from Joshua Clark, and the problem is we cannot see the big. They cannot see the big TV on the chat.
Why not?
So they can't. No, the camera.
Oh, the camera.
The camera does not let them see it.
They can't see the big TV on the chat.
You know what?
We're gonna have to fine tune that.
We're gonna have to move the big TV up here. Mm-hmm. So what you're not seeing is basically
you're gonna have to tune it. Hold on, folks. I've got something for you, baby birds.
Phil's got it.
I got something for you, baby birds. It's okay. It's every better reason for you to watch the YouTube release of the finished product.
Right. So you can hear all the details.
And you can match.
All John snores, farts.
All John snores and farts.
When Sleepy puts it up on Sleepy puts it up on the YouTube, you're exactly right. Thank you. And that makes an excellent point. Well done. Well played. Okay. Very good. Oh, that's a brilliant thing. Excellent.
Actually, you could probably see it if you were a super patriot.
Well, yeah, he's sitting right here.
If you'd only look behind the paywall. Yeah, right. Adam's proof that he gets to see all this shit.
He was in his basement 15 minutes ago. He was at home. He hit the fucking button. Boom.
I'm right here.
It's 6 feet away from Adam. He's got it. He doesn't even put his readers on.
If Kawasaki comes out with something that looks like that, that would also alleviate anybody who loves the look of the Desert X but doesn't want to pay Desert X money.
That's right. And also, if you find yourself saying a hard no to CF Moto and KTM,
right?
Well,
there's your tried and true Japanese.
Tried and true. And you know what?
Italian look.
The only thing that could make it better is if it was green.
Right.
So does anybody have, so like you have a lot of like this hearsay and stuff, but in 2024, around this era, how is KTM's maintenance intervals on their bikes and things like that? Have they pulled that shit together?
You're going to have to fine tune that statement a little bit, my friend, because now KTM lives on 3 different channels.
Yep.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
All right. So we have to acknowledge that KTM represents 3 different streams of manufacturing. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we know that there's the top stream, which is still made by the Austrians.
Yes.
Right? And those are going to be the absolute most cromulent power to weight ratio is going to be of the gods, razor thin.
Dukes,
literally, kind of your name had better be on the side of somebody else's truck. Right? You know what that means?
Yeah.
Right? Remember the joke. How far your name is from your body tells me how important you are to society. If your name is on your shirt, not very important to society. If your name is on your desk, not very important to society. If your name is on your door to your office, getting better. If your name is on the building, well done. If your name is on the blimp over the building, very well done. In our world, if your name is on your shirt, all right. If your name is on
the street sign,
the street sign is very good. If your name is on the truck, good. If your name is on somebody else's truck, very good.
At some point, a lot of this becomes evil, man.
If your name is on your baseball hat, not great. If your name is on somebody else's baseball hat, really fucking good.
Yeah, but at that point, can we talk about like
if your name is on a women's size medium belly tank shirt?
Yes. If your name is on a dog bowl, congratulations.
Well done, sir.
Well done, sir. If your name's on a country,
no, I'm not talking about artists or stars that have earned it.
Right.
On the side of a dumpster?
If your name's on the moon.
Dude, if your name's on a building, you've probably fucking deserved to be shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not, you didn't get there by not fucking over like 1 billion people.
You're just trying to alleviate taxes.
Yeah.
Wait till I change the Christmas lights here on Casa del Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Wait, what?
ClevelandMoto.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the marketing.
Well, I've got the new
Spaceballs bed sheets.
Spaceballs. Spaceballs.
I was thinking of more of like a Wall Street, like giant cocksucker building. Not
dude, that was the idea.
A local-owned business that I appreciate.
Exactly who you were thinking about.
I didn't say that.
Fuck all.
Without one person at this table got here way earlier than you did.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right.
We understand. You're medicated.
No.
Oh,
that's cool. Okay. So again, nothing wrong with that bike from 1991 to 2007.
What is that called again?
16 years of building a KLE 500. 16 years of John not having one. And for that, there will be no fucking forgiveness.
Yep. Right? No justice, no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. So that's a big deal. All right. Moving on.
This bike, Honda, no gold
Freeway
rims.
reports in merchandising.
Merchandising. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Merchandising. We wanted to talk about Chinese, a little bit about Vogue.
Oh God, there's a name I haven't heard in ages. Actually,
Vogue.
Strike a pose.
Vogue. It literally is called Vogue.
Strike a pose.
They did the early tanks, and I think the early
Vogue did some shit.
the early what is it? It's
couple-
the Bajas that
watched
Advanced
that
Auto
video.
Parts sold.
They've done some parody car fun stuff.
The Vogue 260 was a Linhai motor, which was a basis of the Reflex 250. Sorry.
Okay, Vogue.
Anyway, Vogue.
Okay.
Well, since then, Tom.
Since then, CF Moto has actually produced things that aren't garbage.
Bust a move.
Well, Tom, have you ever put that much air underneath your CF Moto fashion?
God, I wouldn't want to because
Okay.
the fucking frame would crack.
Watch this video.
Oh, you and Holman are on the chat are probably not going to get this.
It's okay.
I'm sure if you wanted to look up Vogue, DS
you can
800
find
rally,
it.
I think it's just VOG, isn't it?
No, it's VOGE.
Okay, VOGE.
All right.
Vaj.
VAG.
Nice Voge.
Vogue. Do you guys remember? You remember 5 weeks ago when I explained to you in great detail how to crack the Chinese code, and I explained to you that 65% of the bikes that you were like, oh, that's pretty cool, were Lanchin.
Yep.
Okay. In China, there's like 5 different legit heavy hitters, and don't ever talk down about Lanchin because they have more money than you.
Because Sleepy would be upset to
I think
learn.
just about anybody has more money than
yeah.
me or anybody here.
Sleepy's BMW would be sad if you talked bad about Longchen.
Well, 800 cc's and 90 for
I
Hurspers,
don't give a fuck.
right?
No,
long
your
as
BMW would be upset about it.
120 mile an hour top speed. That's okay, right? But my favorite thing about this is usually when we're talking about all the Benellis and all the different stuff that's out there, one of the problems that China hasn't been able to crack is the type of metal they're refining, which is called Chinesium. And Chinesium is heavier than steel. Chinesium is heavier than mild steel. It's heavier than chromoly steel. Chinesium is heavy fucking steel. And when Pete and I went to one of the years ago, the Indianapolis, motorcycle dealer things, me and Pete Hempfling walked around this bike and we were like, this thing looks fucking amazing. And I was like, yeah, it really does. I'm having a hard time accepting that this is from China. It's bothering me that this bike is made in China because it looks really good. And it was an adventure bike with 800 cc's. And this was 5 or 6 years ago when it was literally just a buck. It was a thing to get people excited and to make not the general public, but to make dealers open their wallet for a Chinese made 800 cc parallel twin adventure bike. And so Hempfling and I are just crawling all over this thing because the people in the booth were not English speaking people. They were all Chinese sex robots. And that's all they did. They just wore skirts and stood around the bike suggestively.
And they never leave booths.
No,
Even when
they
there's
don't
nobody
eat.
there,
They're-
they just
they're not-
stand
They
there.
can live on 800 calories a day.
They're not allowed to.
No, they just give you a handful of white rice and you throw it at them.
I just wondered if they had like some kind of a collar,
Shock
or
collar?
something.
yeah,
I mean, I
Invisible
feel-
fencing.
Yeah.
They never left the booth.
No, it's
but they
creepy.
also didn't have a problem when Pete and I fondled the bike. Like usually when I fondle a bike that's a prototype bike, people yell at me and tell me to go
especially
back
under
and
the
not
bra
take
and
pictures.
everything, right, yeah.
Yeah, right. Third base. And
They were like,
I got
do not,
standards.
Do not fist Android girls.
Right. So Pete and I were getting up close and personal with this thing. And I was like, these welds are actually really tidy.
Wow, they must be 14 years old.
Well, the robots are
No, the
brand new.
welders.
The robots are brand new.
They call the 14-year-olds robots?
No. We are used to seeing robots.
China, dude,
We're used
not
to seeing
India.
welding
Right.
by Chinese children,
Right.
by Indian
Or
children.
they never make it to 14.
But this particular motorcycle that Pete and I were looking at was clearly robot welded.
Ah.
Somebody had just stacked dimes up on this bike.
Oh, they RoboCop the 14-year-olds.
Okay.
Tom, they out fucking spent you, buddy. They outspent you. It turns out that if you get enough Western people to give Chinese people money, they will invest some of that money in goddamn robots that know how to fucking weld. And it lets the 14-year-olds move on to other more important tasks like sending Tom porn.
Building houses?
So
No,
The
where I get my
dreg
porn.
construction, it's fine.
No.
Tofu dreg is fine. It's part of the world. But here we are. Tom and I were rather impressed by this.
Pete.
And sorry, Pete, thank you. Pete and I were rather impressed by this. And then we found other components on the vehicle that were not so impressive.
Right.
And that's where we started to go, wait a second. China might be just doing a thing that we did years ago, which was you're building a bike out of boxes, a component level machine. And you're going to get some things that your robots are going to build. The frames are going to be really tidy. And what we thought was funny was we just noticed an inconsistency of the quality between some pretty vital components.
Chocolate camshafts and candy cane connecting rods.
Actually, I believe General Motors called it Cadillac.
I think that what shocked us was the frame that the motor was hanging from. The welding was amazing. When we looked at the subframe, though, the welding was explosive. The welding was 4th of July. It was stick. It was explosive stick. It was no shielding gases.
Dude, I told you I was at a dealership and saw a $65,000 side-by-side, and the front suspension arms had welding rods sticking out of them.
They literally were sticking out of them. Right.
Yeah.
So that was where Pete had identified. Pete was like, dude, look over here at this. Look over here at that. Pete's a very good QC guy because Pete is always looking for where you save the money, right? He's always looking for like the angle on like, oh, you could tell they saved $1 over here. You could tell they saved $1 over there.
He applies all of his military and like firefighting training to his savings.
He does.
Like it's militant.
Hey, it works for him though, right?
100%.
It does. You can't argue with the output. The output's amazing, right? So going back to this Vogue, we've seen some Vogues in person at some various different motorcycle shows and stuff like that. And it does look like Vogue has showed up to play. The Vogue is not screwing around with this particular bike. Now, the hardest thing that we're going to see in the United States is going to be developing a dealer network, because I don't care what brand you are, whether you're Janus or whether you're Harley Davidson or whatever, the strength of your dealer network will directly affect your sales. It will definitely make your customer feel at peace with their purchase if they feel like they can get a part for it. If they feel like they can get a support item for the unit, keep it on the road if they need to. When you spend a second, go to ADV Rider, look up Vogue, Voge. This piece of equipment is not garbage. This is not tofu drag.
Well, that's like, there's another dude on there, the Cove ones that came in. So they have the Cove 450 and the other ones. The guys are finding that they're halfway decent, but I'm finding it's interesting. Like there's some dealers that are taking them, but kind of like with them and a couple other ones, as long as there's like a main dealer that'll ship it, but then all these guys have forums where like this dude's day job is just monitoring those forums and telling people, oh, you need parts or whatever. It's almost like their service department is part of a forum.
Well, that actually, it's crazy. When we were doing Red Streak and Fly Scooter, that was a lot of the really early thing was getting in on the, my old original boss created a forum is the best way to say it, because he was essentially the parts manager for the United States of America for Fly Scooter. And so anything that came through, he would be like, no, you need to order this part. You need to do this, that. And like, he was service managering, that's what I said, from this forum. And everybody was like, who are you? And I'm like, well, I'm a 10% investor in Fly Scooter. But the reality is, you're talking about Vogue.
Kiss my ring. I am a 10% investor into the company.
That's fair.
I've got a Yelp account. You better take care of me. Go ahead, Chris.
They were having a conversation about CF Moto in the chat.
It's okay. They're going to have a conversation about CF Moto forever. It's a hot topic. Go ahead, Chris.
So you were talking about setting up a dealer network. And do you ever foresee dealer networks not necessarily being there, but using a vehicle like Amazon to sell the unit and then suggest that people go somewhere to get the pieces part?
Yeah.
I know that might be a long time in the future, but
it's actually not. A couple of guys have tried it.
Actually, Chris is not wrong.
Right. No, a couple of guys have tried it.
Can you say that again?
You're not. Hey, Chris, get your phone out. Get your phone out. I want you to record the words I'm about to say. You are not wrong.
Yeah. The the long and short of that is that a number of different companies that we've worked with in the past, back at different generations of the internet, a couple of companies were selling straight on eBay. And then part of them selling straight on eBay was saying, and for all your service needs, go to ClevelandMoto.
Yeah.
Right. And then we were sitting there going, wait a second, you are shipping people a bike in a box and telling everybody that we are going to support it.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you? Oh, we're the guys that are going to give you a finder's fee, or we're going to give you the spiff. And I promise you that when I knew the emperor had no clothes in each of these situations, and a couple of them were low profile, a couple of them were high profile. But when I knew that it was fail was when they were like, it's okay. We're going to use our name. I'm sorry. We're going to use your name for your company on our fly-by-night website, where we sell bikes at flea markets and on eBay and on, direct to merchant marketing. We have bikes at Costco. We have bikes at Sam's Club, and you're going to be the official point of contact. Well, that's great. At what point does my beak get wet?
Yeah, you got no skin in the game at that point.
Yep.
Oh, when they come in for warranty work. Oh, that's great. My shop rate is $120 an hour. It's okay. We pay out $45. Again,
With what with your hat?
I hope your hat is comfortable,
Yeah.
right? Because this was a thing that was happening in the United States when the Chinese boom happened, when guys were showing up from China and saying, sell our bike. Go ahead, Chris.
So think about that.
Yeah.
They say we pay $45 an hour. You say you're at 120.
Yep.
It would be so much smarter for them to say, we will pay you 120 or we'll pay you 125. Tom, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you.
We'll pay you the premium because we are not investing in an extensive dealer network and all the costs that goes along with that. We're just paying an extra $60 an hour. Fuck. I mean, that's smart to do right now.
So hang on, Chris. I'm gonna answer that real quick, and I'm gonna look at Adam real quick and
You're
say
gonna
the
retort.
words.
You're going to retort.
Correct. I'm gonna retort. Hey, Adam.
Yes.
I'm gonna say 2 words, and you're gonna go, oh God. Book rate.
I was just going to say that not only will they pay you $45 an hour, they're going to pay you 2 hours for the 6-hour job you just did.
That's exactly right.
Book rate
Exactly
is the
right.
most horrific thing you can tell a mechanic.
It's the most cutthroat thing there is.
Okay. However, the people that need to pay it who don't have a service coverage in the United States don't have a choice. No. So ultimately, it's going to be cheaper for the units that break to pay what your local dealer is going to charge you, just so that you can keep things moving forward, rather than saying, "Well, I'm going to cut off my nose to spite my face."
May I comment on that?
Yes, sir.
I think what they're hoping is that people will just get fucked.
Yeah.
That they're going to sell these bikes and run away and say, yeah, that guy will fix it for you. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, so I'll buy the bike because there's somebody who'll fix it.
Yeah.
And then when they come to Unky Phil, and Phil says, they say they'll pay 45, but I charge 125 and that's what I'm getting. So, they'll give me 45, you're going to pay the rest. And they're like, we're fucked.
Well, and that's the other option.
And then, you'll be lucky to even get the 45 out of them because by the time
that's the
they
problem.
sell the bikes and the bikes break and they come to you and then you try to file a warranty claim and then they don't send you a check,
Yeah, I'm surprised they said no. I thought they'd be like 120. We'll give you 150,
But
pal.
I
Just
get
let me
your-
put it on there. We'll give you 160 because we know you're going to do a great job. And then the first one that comes in, they're already fucking gone, man.
I get
Like,
your point. They could do the right thing and say, yeah, we'll pay to have these bikes serviced and we'll keep selling a lot of them.
And they'll do the right thing because of their long-term plan,
Right.
which is to keep this going for not just 10 months, but maybe 10 years. And to
Yeah, but you're thinking of guys that actually want to sell motorcycles. Some of these guys were selling vape cartridges like 6 weeks before that, and golf carts. And who knows what.
I
most
carve those out of the discussion.
most Chinese scooters we saw over the past 20 years basically were 6-month plans. They were two cargo containers some asshole bought in fucking Linhai or Zenan or somebody else or Bashan, and they brought them over and they sold a bunch of them, and then suddenly they realized they're kind of crap.
Dude, when I had Rider for Life and we would go to all the super bike races and we'd be selling our fucking stunt bike shit and everything like that, you would see these fucking guys just show up and it would be like 2 or 3 races out of the 10 races and they'd have like the 2-wheeled Harleys, like, you know what I mean? Like the back, like it looked like somebody took their fucking weed whacker and stuck it in a fucking like Kmart bicycle. It was terrible, right? But like they'd be there and then $1,200. These dudes would be taking them home in boxes, fucking everything, and then gone.
I'll help you.
Never
I'll help
see
you with
those
that.
motherfuckers again, man.
I'll help you with that. It was called a Kicker 5150.
Oh, the Kicker! I remember
That was
bike.
it. That was it. Yeah.
They had the 8-ball suicide shifter and everything.
Yeah, tell me all about something I sold 160 of, Tom. Yeah, I'll listen.
I remember those.
Just educate me about something I made $150,000 selling. Because I'm listening.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they were great.
I'm just saying those dudes would show up and then be gone, and you'd never see them again 2 weeks later. And then there'd be a new dude there that would have a different version of it, and then they would be there for a week or two and then gone.
Hey, Sleepy, how would you feel if they put on their national website that you were the only service provider in a 975-mile radius?
Oh, I'm sure it was amazing.
Right.
And that's all at the expense of your business name at that point. Because they're not going to remember who sold the bike to them.
No,
they're going to
they're
remember
just
that
gonna be mad.
Cleveland Moto screwed them for not fixing the thing.
So in a
100%.
bike that you could order online for $1,650,
Mm-hmm.
and every single person that says, "Oh man, my back wheel came off at 65 miles an hour."
Yeah.
Ow.
Well, you need to go to Cleveland Moto.
First the hospital.
Cleveland Clinic first.
You need. What is it? What's the guys up here?
We'll make them pay.
Tim Misney.
That guy, Misney.
Misney.
You need to
Honestly, that would have been the best thing I ever could have done. That would have been the best thing.
Cleveland Clinic, Tim
because living in New Orleans, like Morris Bart, you need to call him Morris Bart. But Misney is up here.
All of these bikes that were legitimate tofu dreg Chinese awfulness.
Yep.
That was just. We discussed this. I know you've heard me say it before. I was going to contact one of these discrepulous fucking manufacturers.
What was that word?
Discrepulous.
Discrepulous.
You know, look it up.
I know.
It's in the Unky Phil's dictionary. I was going to call one of these guys who had quoted me out $699 to build a 125cc scooter, and I said, "That's a great idea. How many how many must I buy?" They said, "Ein Container, 84 bikes." My cost, $295 per bike. Drum brakes, carburation, 125 cc's, and they would make the badges for me to say, caveat emptor 125.
Nice.
Caveat emptor.
It's very Latin.
Oh yeah.
It's very European.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do it because at the time I was being sued by a company called Wildfire for some videos I ran.
Oh, yeah.
And I was running some public advisory videos warning you not to buy Chinese-made garbage.
Your jeans were fucking amazing too, by the way.
So, my jeans were amazing. You
You had
fucker.
the fucking Canadian tuxedo bottom half rolling, baby. It was good.
So, the long and short of it is, I was going to do it. And I was really going to do it. I was going to do it just to prove a point. I was going to do it to show up to Jamie's flea market with a container load of bikes that I was going to sell at $699 for the caveat emptor 125 that had, instead of a CVT transmission, chain drive, that had, instead of disc brakes, drum brakes, that was truly the lowest grade bike they would build.
Sounds like a throwback bike.
It sure does, doesn't it? And by calling it the caveat emptor 125, anybody who tried to take me to court would have to go before a judge and say, "Your Honor, the man ripped me off.
I bought this caveat
I
emptor.
gave him a bike for, I gave him $699 and bought a motorcycle called the caveat emptor 125. And it was less than I expected."
Dismissed.
And the judge and everybody in the courtroom that had higher than 7th grade education would have a good solid laugh. And he'd look at me with a smile, and it would be like a Mentos ad. He'd be like, Ding. The and I did. So one of my biggest mistakes as a young businessman was signing a contract with these fuckers. And these fuckers will sell you a Harley Davidson, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a Chinese motor in everything from the size of a weed whacker, not joking, 35 cc's, up to this particular piece of shit. And at no point ever the hard knock 5150. The Kicker 5150.
Crazy, man.
Oh, it's the code for criminally insane in the Los Angeles Police Department, if you ask Sammy Hagar. So this is a great example of what I thought was, better to piss, better to be out of the tent pissing in than in the tent pissing out or whatever. Like, I really did think that this was going to be my answer for every hillbilly that walked into my shop and said, well, if you only sold one of these. Now, I'm going to let you know that that's a lay down leaf on horseshit motor made out of Chinesium. At Mid-Ohio,
that would be a fucking amazing bike, though. Everybody would be like, let me try your bike. Come on, dude, let me ride your bike.
Yeah. Well, I did that. I spoke that language. I spoke that language for a little while. And I did that, and I sold these things. And if you want to call them boomerangs, that's the most fucking polite term I've ever heard for this. The good news is a solid 50% of the people that bought them were injured or went to jail prior to them having any sort of a complaint about the vehicle. That's good. 50%. I'd say that's pretty fucking solid. It's only second in line to the way we got burned by Cleveland Cycle Works. Oh. In which case, the manufacturer,
the land,
not the land. This is pre-land.
No, that's what I'm saying. Look, the land,
same dirtbag,
right?
Different vacuum cleaner,
right?
Okay.
Well, they went for a leaf blower. Now it's a vacuum cleaner, right? Well, because it was now it's electric. Well, right?
Same dirtbag, different Swiffer. Yeah, whatever.
Right. They certainly do suck, is what you're looking for here.
Do suck. Long and short of it is very simple. When the manufacturer who you're buying bikes from answers the cries of the customer whose bikes have failed by saying that you, the guy who sold them, didn't build them correctly, show up, stand up, defend your product, or suffer silently while I punch you about the general cranial area.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. That's it. So be careful about this kind of stuff. Be careful about it. There is a thing in the world that says when the customer says, well, I guess they couldn't sell if it wasn't safe. That's not printed anywhere. Underwriters Laboratory still exists, but nobody wants to pay them to review their products anymore.
See, you know what else sucks, though?
Yeah.
Is that the thing is actually cool as fuck.
No, it's not.
No, I'm not saying it the actual unit, but I'm saying the concept of it, like
you mean the concept of a rigid 110cc powered,
but like
500-pound motorcycle.
Okay. I thought it
can't
was
get out of its own goddamn way. No, that's a full size fucking motorcycle.
Oh,
they do have pit bikes. Those are 35 cc's.
Oh,
and they're rigid at both ends.
These are about, when he says full-size bike, these are about the size of a Rebel 250, give or take.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they're literally powered by
tiny.
No,
we have those too.
Yeah.
You only have to drive them as far as Smedley's.
No, there's some.
We sold several of them to people who had them over their bars. And I really love those guys. Those guys that bought the little tiny ones that put them over their bars. It was good. It was cute. It was like, oh, look at that. There's a chopper above the bar. That's really adorable.
They do look, I'm not going to lie, they do look really cool. But they are made of well, no, I mean, if you're looking for this, for like a,
look, it'd be like if you looked at a portrait, on your wall of the Mona Lisa.
Right.
And you're like, okay, Mona Lisa's great. Stop. Let me take the Mona Lisa away. I'm going to take the lady out of the picture and I'm going to put Pepe the Frog in there. Okay. And I'm going to hang it back up again.
Right.
Is it still beautiful? Well, everything's the same except for the Pepe the Frog face in the middle.
Right.
Now, if you can get past the Pepe the Frog face in the middle, it's probably still a great piece of art.
Yeah.
The problem with this is every time I look at one of these things, all I see is where the motor used to be, right? All I see is the empty space where my money's supposed to go. All I see is the empty space where my pride used to be. All I see is the empty space that's full of air where my dignity was.
Like
I
a
was
chopper
thinking
Navi.
of this
It's
as like a
yes, it is a chopper Navi.
I was
Oh my
thinking of
God.
this like a fucking pit bike from Mid Ohio. I didn't realize this was like a fucking motorcycle.
They're pretty big.
This is all about you pulling up in front of Smedley's and being like, hey guys, I got a motorbike too.
Okay, yeah,
Look at me, I got a rigid.
that went right over my head. I
You
thought
do
these
have a
things
rigid.
were like little fucking
Yeah.
mini pit bike things, and I
Yeah,
was like,
wait-
well, that's pretty
No,
cool.
they literally are.
It has
about the-
blue rims.
They literally are about the size of a Rebel 250. They're a big-ish bike.
This is the big dog Urkel.
Very nice. All right. Wow. Okay.
And how much did it cost?
They were between $2,000 and $4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honda Monkey.
Exactly.
Money.
Show up on a fucking monkey.
That's Dax money now.
Fucking monkey.
Just show up on your fucking monkey. That's all that's all you need to do. All right.
Daxes are
Can
hitting.
anybody say supercharger?
Oh, sorry.
Supercharger.
Supercharger.
Now, what if we made the supercharger its own goddamn motor?
Now, the only way to power a supercharger is right off the crank.
Oh my God, John, I think you'd be wrong.
What?
What? Wait,
Honda.
you're clearly
Come on,
mistaken,
Johnny.
sir.
Well, what are they doing? They're going to run it with hydraulics?
No,
Hey,
they're going to run
John.
it with electricity.
How much
you go.
power is that going to take to run a supercharger?
About
How much
48
power does
volts.
it take to run a leaf blower?
1.21 gigawatts.
So much power that the bike will have to have 2 batteries.
Not one, but 2 batteries. It's a good thing batteries are hard to find and unobtainium. Oh, wait, no, they're cheap and plentiful?
So that would be really cool putting an
Oh my
electric supercharger on
God.
an inline 4-cylinder.
I don't know why we haven't done that before.
There should be plenty of room where that 4th cylinder should be.
You're right. Nobody ever said, check out my new V3.
Yeah.
Unless you had the NSR 400 2-stroke.
Okay, fair enough, right? Years ago, I watched a video, not that many years ago, obviously. I watched a video of somebody feeding a motor using a leaf blower.
Dude, you can't be making fun of this bike. This bike, literally, I got an erection. I was like,
Literally.
I did. I was in my, yeah.
Literally.
Too bad you didn't let your wife see it.
Well, yeah, I know.
All right.
But I'm saying, like, this
chicken
is
saw it.
amazing. This motor, oh my God, this motor's beautiful.
So years and years and years ago, I watched this silly little throwaway video of some guy going, here is a normal 200cc motor. And here's what happened when I use a leaf blower
Oh, yeah.
to force feed it air. Not nitrous, not ethanol, air. The shit we breathe. And he just literally just grabbed a leaf blower, and he just shot it into the intake. And that motor went plaid for like 17 and a half seconds. And then the piston evacuated and said, fuck off. I'm out. But for a while, it was pretty magical.
Yeah.
And that motor that normally runs at about 7,000 RPMs got up to something like 26,000 RPM, and no gas was added.
Yeah.
Just high pressure air, what we call induction, or non-normal aspiration, right? Honda said, superchargers that run on the crankshaft are so Mad Max. And instead they said, well,
We sell leaf blowers too.
Well,
I wonder if they were like, okay, hey guys, should we make our own leaf blower or should we just fucking bolt a Ryobi to this thing?
well, that's the thing is I think the brushless motor technology has gotten so good now and so reliable, and the torque and the power is there because I guarantee you from a lot of those vacuum cleaner companies, they're spinning like 150,000 RPMs on these little tiny fucking motors. It's insane.
Wouldn't we all be happier if this said Kirby on the side and it was made in Cleveland?
Yeah, that'd be kind of neat.
I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, that'd
I'd
be
be
cool.
pretty cool if that turbo, aka supercharger, because it's happening before, If that supercharger said Kirby on the side and it was made in Cleveland,
It would run for 40 years.
it would run for 40 years and you could use it to paint your car.
But you know what's fucked up though? Right now, there's some engineer from Wish
Yes.
that's like, God damn it, we've been selling this thing for 4 fucking years.
Bolt-on supercharger.
Yeah. $35.
$35. That's all you
12
need.
volt ignition.
It literally
Plug
plugs into your cigarette outlet.
No. You just have to take one like the unused fuse out, and it plugs right
Yes,
into
it
your.
just goes right into that.
What kind of stator is this thing going to have?
I don't even know. Honestly,
It
it's
says that it'll have an upgraded electrical system.
yeah, it must.
It'll have
right?
all the
Suzuki's not
stator.
making it.
Yeah, right.
Suzuki's no. These are not. Yeah, there's. Hey, just get the one off the Hayabusa. It'll be fine. No, it won't.
Look at the wings on Suzuki. They really they're going with the new. Oh no, those are resistors. They're fucking-
Did that comment come out from underneath the hat?
There is one particular line in here that I'm pretty happy about. Honda remained tight-lipped about specifics. No shit. With no displacement or power figures available. But MCN were able to sit down. And by the way, spelling error. Always question journalism that has a spelling error. When they mean to say MCN were able to sit down and they wrote were able to sit down, question the source material. With the company's Italian communications director, Constantino Paolacci. Okay. Nobody does communications like an Italian.
That name is fucking amazing, dude.
Right?
How'd you say that? That was really good.
I'm good at that. Constantino Paolacci.
Paolacci.
Paolacci. You walked into my shop today, and Steve has no idea how much Italian we speak at the shop just to survive.
But it was
every time Vespa drops a new item on us, it's like working at IKEA. You're gonna learn some Swedish. It's just a fact.
But
if you want to have a meatball, you're gonna have to learn to order it.
But you rolled into it like it was like you were like Spanish people that learned English, and then you're mixing the two together. Because like you were like, all right, hey, blah, blah, blah. So the guy's going to need and then you just started going, vente double chino fucking rockata. And she's like, okay, blah. And she's answering. And then I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Now everybody's speaking Italian.
Molto dopo extra grande.
Molto bene.
Molto dopo extra grande. It's 3 languages. Hang in there. We do that at the shop all the time.
Yeah.
If I can mix my languages in one sentence, it's my favorite thing in the world.
But of course, to Renee's credit, she just picked. It wasn't even a missed beat.
She's been dealing with
It wasn't even a fucking pause in operation.
Dude, Sleepy.
It was just like
Sleepy. I came out of the back and they are speaking their own special language.
We have that too.
Not gonna lie, like they come back and check on me to make sure I have food and water and not passed out on the floor and shit because I've inhaled.
If it gets real quiet, we check him once in a while.
Every now and again they come back and throw food at me. It's fine.
Some dude robs you guys. You guys
forward-
both just fly through the air sideways, flipping guns at
it's
each
the
other.
Matrix up
Fucking-
there.
Yeah.
But like I go up front every now and again, and they are having this in-depth conversation in like some weird squirrel language back and forth, and I will literally just come in and drop bombs and walk out.
It's impressive, man.
We
It
have
really is.
invented our own secondary language.
Gorlami.
No, it's Buzz.
Gulami. No, it's hysterical.
It's not a hard language to crack. It's no more complicated than Pig Latin. It's just faster. That's
they
all.
They will just like I'm in the back doing work and they're up front fucking off and just talking about like the housing market or like space cohabitating in Mars.
That's
I'm
my
like,
job, man.
What the shit? That's
my job.
I will come up, get my food, and go. I'm going back.
I'm going away. I'm going away. This is an odd space to be
Meanwhile, they're both like, "Is he gone?" Okay, all right. Now what were we actually talking
What are we
about?
talking about?
Well, that's when we put our human suits back on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
Okay, did anyone else pick up in this particular article about NCN, about this goddamn Honda, about the first model will likely be a roadster?
No.
Okay, well, you all need to pay attention.
Well, that's obviously not
Yeah.
for the
What
American
defines
market.
a roadster? That's
no, Unky Phil loves himself a roadster. Like
what defines a roadster?
Griso.
Yamaha XS650 circa 1973.
All right.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
V9 Roamer.
Now we're talking. Yes, V9 Roamer.
Stelvio.
No, more of an adventure bike. More adventure bike.
Griso, not the Griso.
Griso, definitely
Okay,
Griso.
all right, I get-
Definitely
I get
Griso.
it.
That
Go on
muscle bike, the VMAX. The VMAX a good one.
850 Commando.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
850 Commando.
But that's the thing is because
That's a good road.
MTO10. GS310.
MT09.
MT09,
No,
and the
what's the
7.
or L1? What was the fucking ridiculously fast, muscly looking?
Oh, the MT01.
Yeah, is that right?
MT01.
We didn't get it here.
Yeah.
We didn't get it here.
But that's the thing. A muscle bike. We call it a muscle bike.
Don't do that. Liza did that last week, and she fucking got herself right in a corner.
Call it a muscle
Tommy.
bike.
She basically tried to figure out the Misfits podcast. Man, I love those guys to no end. Legitimately love those guys to no end. But Emma was like, well, in order for us to talk about muscle bikes, we need to go back to the 1923 Herkimer. And I get it. I totally get it. I love it. It makes perfect sense. But if you say the word muscle bike and you do not immediately say the word Kawasaki ZL900 Eliminator.
Oh, yeah. ZL. Yeah.
You didn't understand the assignment.
The VX800.
Again, just say ZL900 Eliminator.
I know that's earlier, but I mean, another one that just slaps you in the head is VMAX. Like,
Well,
so
yeah.
That's where they ended up. They ended up being like, they spent 2 hours to say VMAX V-Rod.
VMAX, V-Rod.
Right.
Again,
V-Rod.
Again, they called one the VMAX. They called one the V-Rod. You didn't need to spend 2 hours.
Right.
It was in the marketing notes. Okay?
You know what?
But what you should have said
Did
was
they have-
ZL900 Eliminator, close the book, fucking walk away, and when if it does not emulate this motorcycle, it is not a power cruiser. It is not a hot rod.
Did they have a top 10 of power cruisers?
Johnny Chrome came up with a name for those type of Jesse James bikes and Orange County Chopper bikes and all that weird shit that we couldn't understand. And I think Johnny Chrome was calling them Pro Street.
Yeah.
Like he's like, those are Pro Street bikes.
Well,
the
no,
big
Pro-
dogs
Pro
and all that
Street's
horse
the thing.
shit.
Did you see how the investments are going on those? I posted a video of 3 of them going up on Meekum. Like 0 miles, kept in crates, babied to their whole lives, blah, 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 whatever.
One of a kind, hand-built 36-inch front wheel.
Starting at $9,000. Do I hear nine? No, nines.
I'm sorry.
Nine.
Insert sound of crickets here.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, that one will be available there. And they rolled the next one up. All right, this one, handmade, whatever. Do I hear $8,000? Third one, $7,000.
The sound of people furiously not bidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just rolled them away. And I was like,
if I could have a pit bull or a mastiff for like as a tertiary bike,
Tom, what's your budget?
3,000.
There you go.
Right.
You can get
All
4 of
right.
them.
So when we are talking about that and Meekum or any of the rule is be the only one of what you are. Be the comedy relief. Right?
yeah, you're right.
Be the comedy relief.
That does explain Big Dog.
When the guy rolls the 57 Chevy Bel Air across the stage at Meekum and you know that he spent $10,000 on the fucking upholstery. If you show up with your $10,000 big dog, $99.99 big dog, you got a chance in hell because you're less than the seats in that bitch. And you can, then wealthy assholes can buy it on a giggle between cigars. Okay?
True.
That'll be up above their bar.
Yeah. And it'll be hanging in their fucking pole barn in their garage mahal.
Yep.
Right? Hey, you know what? Every 39 days, it leaks 1 drop of oil. Right? Because that is truly in the margins for them. Okay, good. But there can be one of those. If your dumbass brought 3 of them to Meekum, you are triple stupid. Because now you're going to be shamed not once, not twice, but the coup de grace.
Well, but here's the thing, too. In that period of choppers, like you had so many big names attached to them that a lot of people, even if the style, the bike is gone, they're like, oh, I still like that guy, so I'll buy it. But these
you know
things
what? My
were
dick really gets hard for the Carolina Siding Company West Coast Chopper.
That's my point. But like some of these, like just the general big dog, like not even like oh, this one is attached to like. Well, you have to admit, like somebody that like a 49ers bike, some dude's probably like jerking himself off to be like, oh, I got the 49ers bike.
You got the one.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm saying like if you just own like fucking like you know that it used to be $29,000 yellow big dog.
Oh no.
That motherfucker's got to be worth like $200 now.
If you bought a Borgette
Oh, my ex-boss did from the fucking recording studio, Steve Gang.
There you go.
He had 2 of them fuckers.
I wonder if there's anybody in the room right now who was the official service provider for Sucker Punch Sally.
Forgot they existed.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a name I haven't heard in a
I
while.
didn't
But yeah.
because I cashed those checks.
Dude, all I know is that Borgette, it was the Python. It was 13 feet long. It was a $85,000 chopper, and he was scared to ride it, so he asked me to take it. So at the time, I was doing Rider for Life, so I had my Fuck Chopper shirt on, riding this fucking giant thing, right? And I was on 271 going down to Quaker Steak to get down to like bike night, you know? And I hit a fucking freeway expansion joint, and the thing flexed and like pancaked down.
Yep.
Because it had a front suspension, but it did not have the rear suspension.
Also, no air ride.
And
So
so,
it just had a 300 series back tire that you're supposed to only inflate to 14 psi.
okay, well, none of that was told. I was just riding. And so when it uncompressed.
What are you fucking new here?
Yeah, well, I was on that. And when it uncompressed, all of a sudden my ass was 3.5 feet above the seat.
Yep.
And I was like holding on to a dirt bike.
Don't you
basically.
understand pneumatics?
Dude, those
Chris,
things.
what are tires?
Hoops of air.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Chris.
yeah. Well,
Tom, have you been reading the comments? I haven't heard a comment in a very long time.
The last one literally
I believe Tom forgot his mission.
literally the last one is Dan.
Literally.
Because we were, it is.
Dan's commenting?
Dan Kroenke, who is Adam's in Dan's seat,
Sorry, Dan.
asking whether or not Sleepy is a higher level mechanic.
Oh, yeah, he's a higher level every goddamn
He
thing.
is higher.
When he came into my shop today,
higher.
Meckelfresh would say he was higher than...
Now,
Giraffe pussy.
before that,
I had a stressful day.
now before that, Freeway's Garage did
that?
indeed ask Patreon question: what's the opinion on the Royal Alloy 150 and 300 after a while has passed?
Yes.
How do they hold up?
Good. Tom,
So,
how do you feel about the coolant in the Royal Alloy 300?
all right, we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago.
Very simple. Make it quick.
If you have a
Answer
Royal
the man's
Alloy,
question.
if you have a Royal Alloy 300, change the radiator fluid immediately, coolant immediately, because that shit is like fucking Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
It will dye your shit blue. It is a knockoff GTS 300 motor, which we all know is bulletproof.
It is a pattern
Build.
licensed
Yep.
by Zongshen,
Yep.
who does have the blessing of the Holy Offer, the Holy Vatican in Italy to produce the bike.
Yep.
And I will tell you that once Tom changed all the coolant to be the same flavor and exercised all the bubbles out of the system, that son of a bitch would not overheat at 85 miles per hour.
I unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, made a Royal Alloy 300 kind of bulletproof. Not gonna tempt fate.
Hold on, Dave. I wasn't going to go that far.
No. But it literally took me kind of doing some extra work.
I will say that Unky Phil with no helmet on ran that bitch down 480 at 84 plus indicated, and it was just
Yeah, but
perfect.
do you remember the day you got the first one? Because I was helping you, and we worked, and you were like, you started it and goes, oh, it runs, and then you burned off the back tire just to make sure that it was a solid fight. It was awesome. I was like,
I'm gonna. Sleepy
you
knows
believed in it.
that no. I don't believe in anything until
Right, you gave it the test.
I give it the beans.
You gotta give it the
Rigorously
beans.
tested.
have to give it the beans.
No, but nobody could ever
s-
say that you don't fucking like give it like you don't just tell like people say, oh well, yeah, give it to Phil, he'll do a burnout on the first thing. No, you really do a fucking burnout on the first
Burnout, a
start.
wheelie.
Yeah.
That's John. John has been there way too many times. They're like, hey, John, we're going to get this out of the box. Cool. We're going to put a battery in it. Great. We're going to put air in the tires. Great. All right. Wheelie show.
Lock and roll.
Rip it.
I am.
Sometimes we're sober.
I am. God, when is that?
It's not often.
Tuesday mornings.
Tuesday mornings. I am of the opinion that once they are tinkered with a purpose, because let's start this the right way.
Yeah.
I'm a Lambretta guy. I love Lambrettas.
Okay. First of all, let's be honest. If you are talking about the Royal Alloy motor scooter, and you say the word Lambretta, you are already pissing off
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody who knows what a Lambretta is.
Yeah, but if anybody knows me, they know I'm going to piss off literally everybody.
I
So that's
understand.
the important point.
I understand.
So I'm a Lamborghini. I've owned TV 175,
Yeah,
LM 150s, 125, Series 2. I have never owned a Series 1. I'm still regretting this.
Yeah.
I like the concept of the Royal Alloy.
Mm-hmm.
The GT 150 apparently is kind of bulletproof-ish because they're air-cooled, right? Still?
Yes.
The water-cooled 300 I love, but I love it after you get it tinkered with the right way. Because like I said, after you change the coolant in it, it becomes cooler.
Yeah.
It becomes everything you want an old Lambretta to be, which is sort of reliable.
Unencumbered by a computer key chip.
Exactly. It is not the GTS where you have
Unencumbered
to worry about
by traction
all the bullshit.
control.
Yep. Nope. It is literally the Dodge Challenger.
It is like you said. Could we go back 5 years?
Yeah.
And just focus on the motor?
Yeah.
It's got ground clearance.
It does.
And
It's going for you.
the proportions aren't quite right.
No, they're not right.
But-
no. The front part of that motor scooter and the back part of that motor scooter met in a very dark alley one
And
night.
I literally beetle that thing
I
for
like it though, man.
Let me tell you about my wife. She's sexy as hell after 17 drinks.
I have
It's like,
after appropriately beating on that one for like a week. I kind of hated it, but at the same ride, at the end of the day, it ran.
Well, let's put it this way, okay? The normal Lambretta owner in Cleveland, Ohio, is going on what, 4 rallies a summer?
Oh yeah, but they're not going on that bike.
But that's what I'm saying. But but say like if you're going to go on any kind of a rally and thing, that thing will last you for years.
Oh, yeah,
And
I
you'll
can
start
literally
and run
I can
and be
throw
amazing.
a wrench in my area and hit 4 Lambrettas
Easily,
and I still won't take a single one of them to a rally.
no. I mean, if you have an authentic 2-stroke 4-shift manual shifting Lambretta
I can throw-
and you use that to go to work, I know only one thing: you work from home.
And I can throw a wrench and hit at least one of Stoney's bikes.
Nobody who listens to this cares about that.
I know.
I promise you.
I know.
That is some obscure
And
shit.
they should.
I don't need that.
And the reality, knowing what I know, I still would take the Royal Alloy.
If you want to get to work in the morning and you're a Lambretta fetishist, if you saw the movie Quadrophenia and went, that's my boner fuel, then if that's your thing. If you believe in that, we are the mods, we are the mods, we are the mods. If you believe in that, but you have a job that needs you to get to work in the morning and you don't work from home, then you probably will be happy with a Royal Alloy.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. And even bullshit purist asshole skinhead fuckers, soccer hooligans, what have you, even they in the UK have said, you know what? There's a lot to be said for not getting fired because I want to ride a 64 Lambretta or an 80 Cervetta or a 90 Indian copy
Or a
of the
Lynx
same.
or anything
It
else.
doesn't matter. The long and short it comes down to, it's a pretty solid goddamn bike.
If you absolutely positively have to have a reliable bike to get you everywhere.
Oh, don't
every
spare the
day of
fluid
week.
film, by the way.
No.
Don't spare the fluid film.
Oh, no.
Because they treated that motherfucking bike like paint was priceless.
Yep. So if you absolutely have to,
I've never seen less prep. I've never seen less prep. I've never seen less primer. I've never seen less actual paint on a bike. They painted that thing at a distance.
Dude. I got this Scorpion helmet that's fucking beautiful. It's carbon, it weighs nothing, right?
Yeah.
But the paint, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I have to protect it. So I took my $18 a can from your shop or whatever, Honda polish, the polish that can't hurt anything.
No, it's seriously, it is truly unicorn tears.
The greatest
It will
polish
hurt nothing
in the world.
Right.
And it's not even called Honda polish now. It's whatever. It's Dixie's shiny ass or whatever.
It's shine and shine.
Yeah, whatever.
Right, spray and shine, whatever.
So I take it and I'm like, okay, because if you get it on something when it's fresh, it really helps from not fucking it up, right?
Dude, it's amazing.
So I'm like, and I take
Just
my
give it a fall.
brand new, like out of the bag microfiber towel. And I'm like, and I do it and I rub it and it's like supposed to glisten. I look and it scratched the fuck out of everything. The paint on that helmet is like less than 1 micron thin. I can't even believe that it's a human ability to paint that thin.
You bought a carbon fiber helmet, Sleepy.
I know, but
then
still.
you understand that weight is important.
I get
and paint
it,
is a heavy motherfucker.
Right.
But touching it with the microfiber
Do you know why
towel,
American Airlines doesn't paint their planes?
Wait.
That's right. Because the fucking paint cost them efficiency.
You know why Mrs. Smith's new car didn't get a
Gallons of fuel.
Mrs. Smith's new car didn't get a spare tire? Weight.
Are you fucking kidding?
No,
Really?
no.
Hyundai doesn't have one either.
Her new car came with a
little pumper dumper?
one of the things where you inflate the tire.
AAA card.
So yeah, because I said, "Where's the fucking spare?"
Right.
You don't get one.
And it didn't even come with a donut.
No,
get a
no
donut.
donut,
It
no
came
nothing.
with-
that
came
whole
with-
back area is empty.
Jesus Christ. Did
Same
it
with
come
mine.
with like an aerosol can of mousse or did it come
Yeah.
with something with a cord on it?
Moose.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Well,
oh my
God. But what are they doing? They're trying to reduce weight.
And
how often do
probably-
you use really a spare tire? You know, once every 5 years.
In the modern market, I will completely agree that it's not often.
So-
Yeah, right.
What I did was I grew a spare tire. No, it's a joke. That's okay. You'll
By the way,
see it
you
in the
slid-
show notes.
You completely slid that one by me, and I appreciate that.
Oh, I get it now.
You'll see it in the show notes.
Got
Yeah.
it.
I wasn't
Yeah.
picking up what you were putting down there.
No.
You know what? I don't think I pay the high
Spare
enough
tire,
Patreon
muffled
level.
top. He got a little thicker in the middle with a little age going on. But he wrapped all that eloquently into one little fucking line.
By
that
the
he
way,
slid
was very
right
slick.
in.
And I appreciate the efficiency.
You just
I
got to sit up
really do.
straighter in your seat there.
Yes, you do. That's just a
Sometimes
little bit.
Smith's on top of you. Sometimes he just passed you, man. He's
I
just
don't
next level.
Sleepy.
Sleepy.
Never say the words Smith's on top of you.
Oh, get your mind out of the
Never again.
gutter.
Settle down, Tommy.
Hold on. Hey, but I did want to say this, and for what it's worth, the Audi cars have already done this.
Yeah.
So the idea was that the Audi's got not one but two power whistles. It's got two turbochargers, and while it's waiting for those to spool up, their electric supercharger kicks in on the early stage.
They're kind of like anti-lag devices.
Fuck yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
But it's Audi. The fail's built in. So
But that uses a 48 volt.
Wait, what
system.
brand does Tom approve of? Is there a brand that...
Yes.
have
Yeah.
you noticed the two Hondas
He's
in my driveway?
he's a giant proponent of Coleman.
Yeah. Coleman.
He's finally found a bike he can't make run.
Yep.
Yeah. He respects them for literally having built it perfectly so that he could fuck it up. He could try to overthink that shit with one piston
I really did.
and two
Oh
valves.
God, I went way
It's this
deep.
close to being a two-stroke.
Yeah.
It is literally this close to
Yeah.
being a two-stroke.
Like I
And
like
and he was like, "No, fuck you, Phil, buying one for out of the box for $650. I'm going to buy a broken one and never ride it."
yeah.
I'll show you.
I'll show you a thing or two.
The problem is
Every time he goes near my bikes, I'm like, step away from the bikes. Those both run perfectly.
every
Step
couple of
away.
months, every couple of months I go past mine, I go, I should throw more money at that. I think it's
it's
like
a one-cylinder fucking side
it's like
valve.
a 240, like with the CVT with the big clutch. I'm like,
I mean, hold on. Hey, Sleepy, can you remember the time that either one of my Colemans didn't start?
Yeah.
No.
I can't either.
no.
Can you remember any time that somebody had to walk my Colemans back because it wasn't running? No. And you know what? I've only put one tank of gas in each of those.
Do you remember a guy that put a whole shit ton of fucking money into a mini bike that he bought originally for a really exorbitant price and then made it do all kinds of things, then raced it, and now it's gone?
It's gone.
Because that motherfucker was about to explode at any moment. So he's doing all the shit that's just going to make it last for like 7 minutes.
no.
You're going to go really fast on it for 7 minutes.
Do you know what the best thing about a Coleman is when it comes out of the box? Everything.
Yeah, you're done.
It's everything. It is idiot proof.
But yours even has the fun wheels, right?
Which one?
Oh yeah,
You have
his
the
his
torque
are perfect.
converters, right?
I have one of each.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right. The correct number of $600 disposable bikes is 2.
But with
Why?
the torque converter, them fuckers can get up to some speed, though. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't care.
No, the
if
problem-
it is
the
if exactly one fuck faster than walking,
Right.
that's all that matters.
Sleepy, the problem is I started reading stuff and I went, oh, I could do that. And the problem is I went, oh, I could do that. And the problem is, oh, I could do that. And now I'm like, Now I'm really, really busy and I can't do all that.
Oh, you're a couple of weeks from being really cold. So.
No.
Winter is coming.
No.
That is
The
a
problem
deal.
is, no, Sleepy, the problem with winter at our shop is that Phil has like 1,000 bikes, and this is not a joke.
I've got 66 bikes. I just counted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many bikes do I have to make it work over this winter?
Just the 3 you didn't finish last year?
No.
Tom, what do I do for a living every day?
Just the 4.
I do videos. Then what happens at night and weekends?
Nothing.
I do videos. So shut your pie hole and fix your bike.
Like I did finally put the transmission back in the Ambassador last week.
There you go. Hey, so I did want to say this just because we were talking about motorcycles before we decided to just attack people. No,
I can't even say that word.
Okay. Are you monitoring the chat?
Yeah, I'm looking.
You don't look like you're monitoring the chat.
I am, but
All right.
honestly, Dan is the last one that's commented. So either my chat has frozen or people are
I'm
not.
seeing all kinds of stuff about here. Is like, what does a container of shitbox scooters cost
No,
now?
I've
There's a
seen
spec
that.
racing class.
Like I'm
You
down.
saw that, but I didn't hear that.
Well, yeah, but we're not.
So if you saw that, but I didn't hear
do
that.
you want the entire Kawasaki conversation?
Yeah,
too?
I want the feed.
People want to know if they can get CF Moto parts. And somebody who works for CF Moto said, well, okay, it's an entire conversation. Somebody commented
You're
on...
supposed to be reading those things.
I know. Is Kawasaki outsourcing?
He's fired. Fired.
Oh my God, Tom.
I was Team
Lock him
John,
up.
and Team John fell asleep
And John
over
fell
here.
asleep.
I fucking can't do anything now with Team
That's
John.
why we gave the job to Tom.
But like the last comment literally was Dan. And I'm like, okay, cool. Is there anybody else commenting?
I got it.
I think everybody died.
No, nobody died. I keep seeing the thing moving up, and every time it moves up and
not
you don't
get-
say something,
I'm not
I get
getting-
weird.
I'm not getting
Are you going to make
movement.
me do this job too?
I'm not getting movement.
You're not getting movement.
I'm gonna
I've got
reload
Freeways
this.
Garage things. So the Royal LA 150 at least has linked brakes, and when I pull the rear, it applies 2 pistons on the front.
Oh, beautiful.
Versus 1 from the front brake. I got used to it. Is it
No,
common in
mine
Mr. or
didn't
not?
update.
No, actually, the Royal Alloy 300 doesn't do that. The Royal Alloy 300 has the traditional.
Hey.
What?
Aaron says something important. Drink every time y'all chastise me.
I'll drink to that.
Look, there is things going on. I just pulled
Adam
up.
jumped in on that shit fast.
There's all kinds of fucking.
I'm telling you,
No,
Tom, get with the program.
Mine was not updating.
Tom, you had one job.
And I fucked at it.
Well, then you can sit over here and read this shit. It's updating
right?
constantly.
Oh my
must
god,
say,
there's a whole fucking.
Every time I
thread.
see that thing going, you don't talk. I know.
ZL900A is what we're talking about. There's
ZL900A?
one for sale. Yeah, Joshua Clark.
Yeah.
There's an 85 ZL900A.
Oh, tell me more about the ZL900A.
He says they're talking about there's one for sale down the road from it. So Joshua Clark, if you could
Okay.
call in on the bat phone and tell Phil where this thing is, he wants to buy it.
Okay. Oh, well, I will give you
Calm
just.
down there,
I'll give
Tom.
you 90 seconds about the ZL900 Eliminator. I wanted one so hard, and they made. For a moment, they made a ZL1000 Eliminator.
Oh yeah.
I remember the ZL1000.
Shaft drive.
Yeah,
And a
yeah,
nice round number, like a 1000, right?
Dude, shaft drives are fucking. That's why I love my my GS850s.
Yeah.
Well, not just one.
Yeah.
But it's the shaft drives are dope, man. People can say what they want about them. It's smooth.
I like how the guy was
fucking-
like, well, you know, you got shaft drive there. You can't do you can't do burnouts.
Says who?
I'm fucking sorry.
Me and my Moto Guzzi say you're wrong.
What the fuck, man?
you could do it in the rain and not even worry about it.
The only thing wrong with a shaft drive is do not try to accelerate whilst turning left.
Okay, yeah, right.
The term is called shaft jacking.
Yes.
And if you ever want to find the ditch, that's the easiest way to find the right-hand ditch in a left-hand turn.
Usually you're shaft jacking when you can't find it.
Now he's getting on the game.
Sometimes shaft jacking is all you got, baby. The Shaft Jacker 900, the Shaft Jacker ZL 1000. I shaft jacked my way into a telephone pole one time on a Super Magna. And I was winning that race, and then I lost the race quite suddenly. And I had 7 stitches in my back because of that. Ouch. But the ZL 900 and the ZL 1000, I got to say, man, they were not good handling machines. But
something.
my goodness, they did go straight in a hurry. Yeah. And all the VMAXs and all those little things did too. And anything that said the V65 on the side. If
You
it
know
said
what?
V65 on the side, fuck it. You better get a life
You know
insurance
what's
policy.
crazy though, and I don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
But the same dudes that had the fucking same clothes that had the VMAXs now own Scat Packs.
Yes, they do.
They just graduated.
They literally just slid over.
Same clothes though, man. The same.
They didn't change
no
anything.
sleeves. Sleeves never became part
No,
of
they
their
had the muscle
operation.
shirts and the muscles weren't included. That was it. These guys, like, I've been like, we're like, dude, that is a bespoke Walmart muscle shirt. You didn't cut the sleeves off. It's got a ringer, like it's embroidered.
John-
it is straight up.
who's the
and when dudes buy
who's
those,
the guy with the tigers and the Vajazzler?
yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah,
what's
yeah,
the
yeah.
guy? Tom Hardy?
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
No, but if John
No,
wasn't
I thought
sleeping,
that was the actor.
he would attest
Farm
to
and
this.
Fleet, dude. We got dudes that come into the shop with Farm and Fleet sleeveless T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
They're not like, I'm gonna cut the sleeves off this bitch because it's slowing me down. They bought it that way.
Dude, we walked when at the end of our trip last year at the Blue Ridge Mountains. We like after we run the 215. There's like this bar. Those guys get a beer. I get like an NA, and we sit there and whatever.
Right.
And so you're in the parking lot, and there's all our bikes, a couple other bikes, and then a group of cars. And there's like a Porsche. There's like some like rice cars and some other stuff.
Right.
So we go into this little watering hole, and it's not big and it's well lit. It's not like a bar. It's like a kind of, it's between a park, a bar, like a park stop, a bar, and like a, I don't know, whatever.
We get
I'm
it.
still very confused.
Yeah, but it's just bright. It's just very bright.
okay.
You know,
All right,
And
fair
out
enough.
of the whole place, everybody's just kind of looking around, and you look, and you're like, all right, who's the Porsche owner, and who's the Scat Pack owner?
Yes.
And it took about 0.2 seconds to find the Scat Pack guy.
No, it's pretty easy.
It
Yeah.
was fucking amazing.
It
we
it
just call
de-
those Hellcat owners now.
Yeah.
Right. You
It
get a
just
Hellcat.
depends on where they do the vajazzling.
It's just a Hellcat owner. You're a Hellcat owner. You're fine. Yeah, we get that. All right. Next topic.
Isn't the PW80 like on steroids?
It's a Yamaha BW350. No, it's a BMW F450 GS.
For those of you playing the home game, that is what Sleepy sounds like when he climaxes.
Okay.
That's a fucking looking bike, man. That's a good looking bike.
It totally looks like a PW80.
No, I have to.
BMW
I have to.
Multistrada Jr.
It is.
It's got long,
yes.
it's got wheelbase for days.
It's a 450 Desert Sled. It's a 450 Desert X. It is finally redemption for the war crime that was the BMW 310.
Yeah.
This is the final apology for the most lackluster BMW I have ridden in my goddamn life.
And here's the thing. If this thing doesn't sell a billion things, then they can go and punch all the guys on an ADV rider in the face.
Yeah, because
they've
we
been-
gave you what you were asking
They've
for.
been asking for
Right.
a 400 to 450 cc lightweight fucking all full off-road bikes for as long as I've been reading that fucking website. And now their God of Almighty GSAs are dropping, or the BMW GS people are dropping it into their fucking lap. And watch, it'll be like discontinued for lack of sales.
So is this still a Bajaj?
I would
What,
totally
no
buy
rider
that if it
aids?
was green.
Yeah.
I have no idea who built this for them because we know Lon Chin. Well, no. Okay, strike that. Let me back up. I know exactly who built this for them. Lon Chin.
Well, I'm sure, like, who built
I don't
my
care.
bike, my bike's probably the lower end of the fucking chain, and it's a fucking great bike. I mean, like, the
I thought
quality's
Bajaj
awesome.
did the 310.
This is not the 310.
Oh.
And this case is not a 310 case. So I'm going to lean towards Lon Chin on
Lon
this
Chin.
one. I'm going to lean on this. And this has more than one cylinder. And we know that Bajaj hates anything with more than one cylinder.
This is true.
So since Bajaj hates anything with more than one cylinder, I got to lean to the Chinese on this one.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, and by the way, did somebody say 48 horsepower? That's got to be a lie. That's got to be a lie. There's just no way that can be anything remotely truthful. I now have a problem because I kind of want to own this despite its extremely fucking stupid headlight.
Where is the headlight? Does
On
it
the
have the
front.
X? Does it have the anus headlight?
It
The
has
cat
half a
asshole?
headlight.
Does it have the starfish missing a couple legs?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
cat
does.
asshole.
It
So
does.
is this the successor to the
Chocolate
G4?
starfish?
Yeah.
Is this the
that's
successor
not
to the
bad.
There it is.
G450X?
It is.
It's a wide chocolate star.
I think it is. I think this is the successor to the cross country.
I still have a real soft spot for the G450.
But imagine if the G450 had 16 more horsepower and weighed 60 pounds less.
I'm going to wait till you buy one, then I'm going to ride it.
So we have to wait till one of my customers buys one.
Correct.
And then we get to buy one, and then we get to ride it. Yeah. I actually like this.
I do too.
Yeah. I like this.
Well, you know,
and considering
small displacement BMWs,
but they've also been fairly
small
decently
ones.
priced
Did
too.
you read
The
the-
310s were not ridiculous
Did you
for
read
a
the
BMW.
quote? Here's the quote. Here's the quote that's going to piss off Tom. Where the smaller GS310 GS, while the smaller G310 GS is built in partnership with an Indian company, TVS. Current owners of Norton
TVS.
Motorcycles. That is a dig right there. By the way, in case you weren't sure if the British could throw shade, they just throw shade very fucking Britishly.
You know what? You know what I find funny? TVS, because wasn't that LML?
TVS became, for a moment, but TVS was the car company. Right, exactly. And the bullet train company. Et cetera, et cetera. Right. Current owners of Norton Motorcycles. The new 450 has been developed in-house using lightweight materials such as magnesium lead. What? No. It's got to be developed in-house using materials such as magnesium. Hyphen. Lead or led by project manager Sepp Machler. Okay. So what they've done is they've done everything except tell you who builds the bitch. They said it's developed in-house using lightweight materials such as magnesium. I don't care that you used unicorn farts when you made the fucking thing. Tell me where you made it. And they're not. Mm-hmm. They're not.
Right.
But here's what they are telling you. It ain't TVS.
No.
Which means it ain't Bajaj. So to answer Tom's question, as we suspected, Bajaj is good for one cylinder. India is good for one cylinder. If you want more than one cylinder and you want it cheap, you're going to be visiting China.
Who's making KTMs?
CF Moto.
You don't know.
These guys have loved Lanchin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
these guys have a reputation using Lanchin.
Yeah, your 800 is Lanchin.
Yes, it is. Yeah, the 800 is Lanchin.
Mine
for
is
sure.
a 900. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Probably also still Lanchin.
I know. I don't give
Look, we love it. We think it's great.
Sleepy, your 1000 you didn't buy is Lanchin.
No, the 1000 is 4 cylinders.
Silly?
Yeah.
No,
That's not
I thought
Lanchin.
there was a twin.
No, SR 1000R is one.
Depends. There's
God
fucking all
damn
the
it.
different numbers.
Fucking hate that.
Yeah, so you got the XR, which could be a twin, but then you have the SXR,
SXR,
which is the 4
cylinder.
Yeah, the R. What is the R1000 SS or whatever the fuck?
And
it
the one
is.
that gives me just masturbatorial fucking images is the M1000SR. It's like the fucking, it's like my Tuono, but a BMW, but it's got wings and it's black and it's the M version.
Is that 4-cylinder?
Yeah, and it's like 226 horsepower. I have to have it.
We know
I'm
that's
already
not
making
Chinese.
decisions.
Yeah, I like that.
My spleen has proved to be lucrative.
That one might still be Eastern European versus
Yeah, I
Chinese.
think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But
It's sexy.
to Sleepy's credit,
Dismay?
no, fuck it. I agree with Sleepy. The F450 GS is boner fuel.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And as much as our friend Dave Nolan has, an off-road, low production BMW off-road motorcycle.
Must H2, right? Or the whatever.
The HP.
HP.
Yeah.
HP.
Yeah.
Which this really kind of looks like it, but
I think it looks
shrunk
better.
it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it looks more proportionate. I think it looks better put together.
Because let's face facts. Really at this point, every motorcycle manufacturer under 1,000 cc is the best way to say it, because that's kind of the
I think
price
you're right.
point.
Yeah, I think that's
Literally,
the deal.
it just comes down to what plastics and forks do you want on your launch end motor.
And not only that, but like another $1,000 added to the price, they put the stripies on the wheels.
Right, exactly.
Right there, boom, done.
Exactly.
$1,000.
Because at this point, so I'm gonna say something.
Hold on.
I'm gonna say something.
If it's Yamaha or Honda, we'll put gold rims on it for an extra 12
exactly.
Honda.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something.
Ducati started this shit. Dodge picked it up, so Dodge started fucking striping out some of their fucking rims. The dude who sold you your fucking Pacifica fucking got into
It's a
striping
Previa,
out.
Dick.
Previa, okay.
It's a Previa, but it's got so many fucking Adidas stickers on it.
Oh,
Renee, or Merritt calls it the tennis shoe. Merritt's like, "Are you taking the tennis shoe to work this morning?" I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The hysterical thing is, like, if you roll that thing in, you have 4 Previas now? 3 or 4?
I don't know.
They're all.
I'm sorry, the Estima.
It's inventory.
I think I've got
Estima?
I've got 2 supercharged Previas. I've got the one I just got.
Right, yeah.
And I think there might be another.
Yeah.
There might be another Estima. The Estimas are narrow.
So
the Estimas are narrow and the Previas are wide.
You really have a thing for this van.
Oh no! I will not hide that. I have a very.
This is your fetish.
It's not a fetish. It's
Kink?
a fucking religion.
It's a kink,
dude. Okay, I can haul 6 to 8 people.
Right.
In air-conditioned comfort.
You can now hold 27
square feet of sunroof.
No, I love the new one with the full glass roof.
All glass.
Oh, yeah. No, it is the Oldsmobile Delta 88.
And I can do all
vans.
that with a sideways 4-cylinder Toyota motor that hides in the middle that nobody can figure out where the motor is. Right?
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, change the oil.
It's amazing.
Just got to take out the passenger seat.
But the reality is I walk out and there's like 7 of these in the front yard. I'm like...
Okay, so the real problem is my hearse count has gotten out of control.
True. What are you up to? 4 now?
I got 4 hearses. The only good news is I only have one ornate hearse.
How long is that new one you bought?
23 feet.
That thing is huge.
That bitch is long. Dude, I drive some long shit.
That is like the
and
party
that is some
boat.
long
Like,
shit. I keep waiting for there to be a dude at the very back of it with an extra steering wheel.
When we kind of...
to hook me around corners and shit.
Don't go downtown Cleveland with that thing.
It's fun.
We kind of need to get rid of the building you're in now and buy like one with lifts and stuff in it, like so.
One across the street that used to be fucking whatever.
The Ford dealer, yeah. Because when I'm like, well,
hey, let's just let this economy get proper fucked for a little while, and I'm sure I can slide right into that old Ford dealership.
Because I'm like, well, I'm getting a little bit bored in the back, and I'm waiting on parts, and you're like, well, I need somebody to work on my Mercedes hearse. I'm like, well, I guess I'm your guy.
Fine.
All right, so with this thing, with the BMW here, since the GS310 had like 13 versions, so you had like the ADV version and whatever. Are they going to do this up so you have like a roadish version?
It
is
BMW. They love to have models.
Is this just straight fucking off-road?
There are 31 different variants of the R9T.
Right.
Including our favorite,
and
the R9 Turbine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is the R9T Urban. Which how they didn't see that coming is beyond me.
And the weird thing
same
is,
with Jay Anus.
Well, the R9S Eek or the R9 Seek, depending on how you are. You could have a Turbine or you can have a Seek.
Turbine a Seek.
It's fine.
They come with a knife.
What was the one from last week? It was the Twinsy or the something SE, the Twixie.
I don't remember.
Well, it's like the
Ruxy C.
It's like the Harley FLART.
Yes. Yeah.
Flart.
Yeah. Well, more importantly, the Harley D-Bag.
D-Bag.
Which is the other one. Hey, I didn't name it. It wasn't my job.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, back to shit that's happening and that we should probably be aware of. Apparently, it is impossible to sell a full-priced, full-sized electric motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
So, about 2 years late to the memo.
Yep.
Zero and Livewire both had a come to Jesus moment at the exact same time. And they both said, hey, China, could you help us unfuck this pig? And they did. And so the solution was to offer a new motorcycle that costs half as much money, or in Zero's case, a third as much money. And they did. And they did come out with, in fact, a super cheap-ish motorcycle. So Zero's answer was to apparently, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm pretty sure Zero just straight up ripped off Suron, because the Suron Light B motorcycle, which looks like it looks at $4,400. I'm going to just throw this up here so our folks at home can appreciate this.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we know what that is. So when I pull this up for the folks at home, and we just take a quickie look at this thing. I'm going to tell you the first thing that I'm going to tell you about this particular motorcycle is it's not a fucking motorcycle because it doesn't have a title.
Yeah.
And it's not street fucking legal.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
it looks like you just come with an annoying helmet and a kid.
You know.
Sorry, fucking no.
Or a helmet and an annoying kid.
The real big problem with this Chiron Light B is the fact that it does not have pedals. Because if it did, it would literally be a moped.
No, it wouldn't because it goes 53 goddamn
Dude,
miles
this
per
looks
hour.
like a broken, like when Jeremy McGrath was the lead for fucking Yamaha or whatever, and then like Walmart was selling my first pedal bike fucking version of a fucking bicycle, and it was already broken and the front fender fell off. That's what it looks like. It looks like the broken plastic off of a kid's toy.
If you're a fella who likes mountain bikes, this is called a jumper.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So this is a jumper mountain bike. It's an electric motorcycle. And I'm going to leave this up for just a second because I want everyone to get a good long look at the Suron.
It's offensive.
And yes, we know the chat can't see this, but you know what
Hold on, guys. I'm going to give you enough time.
It's offensive.
Hang on, little baby birds. It's a Suron, SUR-RON, Light B, or Suron X. They gave up on the Light B name. It was too Asian. All right. So here we have the Suron X. And the Suron X is available in the United States, delivered to your house for $4,400. Fair enough. Okay, good. Suck that up real good. I want you to understand and really get a look at that bike and remember what it looks like.
Oh, Aaron says drink.
Drink. Why did we chastise Tom?
Yeah, y'all chastise me.
What did we chastise you for?
I don't know.
I missed that one.
Probably sure on.
Come on, Aaron, get with it. All right. So Zero just announced at EICMA that they too, in fact, were partnering, or they were going to build a new.
I mean, there's always a good reason to drink. It's just not because you chastise me.
Right. This is also true. That Zero was going to show up, and Zero was going to do a kinder, gentler, less expensive bicycle or motorcycle. I don't know. It's tough because they can't be titled.
With no pedals.
They're not street legal.
But with no pedals, it's not really a
Right.
moped or a bicycle.
Exactly. So when we look at the Zero version of the exact same bike,
It even looks more mountain bikey.
Well, because if
they're selling two versions, the XE and the XB.
those of us who remember Zero from back in the early aught days,
Yeah.
they were mountain bikes with electric motors.
They
They were
essentially
actually really cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I should have bought ADs.
It was just meant to be a motorcycle you ride in your backyard and the police wouldn't get called, right?
And then
That's
Zero
really what it was.
decided they wanted to become a real boy,
Right.
and created real motorcycles, and then they got really overcomplicated.
Yeah. And so the Zero electric motorcycles XB, one, kind of weird, but did I tell you the Suron cost $4,400?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. Did I tell you that the Zero costs $4,200?
Interesting.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah.
That they're that close.
Meow.
So I did some up close photos. I really did some ridiculous deep dive analysis on this shit, and they are very fucking similar. They're so similar that it makes one wonder about who's the daddy and who's the mommy. But they share a whole lot of the same genetic code, I think. But the long and short of it is that one is $4,200, one is $4,400.
Hey, Tom.
What they do have in common is that neither of them are motorcycles in the strictest definition of you can legally ride it on the road.
Yeah, no way,
Right.
dude.
These are not road legal motorcycles. So these fall into the category of toys. The $6,500 one goes 53 miles per hour. And the $4,200 one goes 47 miles per hour. Now, the news event for Zero is that these are, in fact, way cheaper than their normal stuff. But their FX and their FXE are in the neighborhood of 10 grand. But they are 80 pounds-feet of torque. They are 88 miles per hour. They are motorcycles. They have done all the heavy lifting to be street legal as motorcycles in these United States of America. These things, the XB and the XE, are not. They are not. They are off-road bikes only. They are for off-road, FOUO, for off-road use only. They've got adjustable suspension. They got all that cool shit. So does the Suron XB, or Suron X, I'm sorry. It's just coincidental, I'm sure, that the Zero is called the X, B and XE, and the Suron is called the X. I'm sure that's just coincidental. I'm sure it's just coincidental that the motors look damn near identical. I'm sure that's coincidental. I'm sure there's a lot of things about these two bikes that are coincidental. I'm also sure it's coincidental that Zero's biggest partner now is in China. and is called Zongshen. That's probably purely coincidental too. So I'm sure they're not at all the same exact motorcycle. But if you do have to buy one of these two and you want to buy a motorcycle that's not a legal motorcycle and is for off-road use only, I would recommend buying the Zero because at least they're an American company and you can feel good about keeping an American company in operation. It'll feel better than buying a Suron.
And then service,
You save $200.
You've had decent luck with like dealing with their service, right? Like, I mean, as being the person that was servicing stuff.
I will not comment on that. All right. I see what you did there, Sleepy. I appreciate it, but I will not play along. That's great. Now into the other world, Harley Davidson and their company that they sometimes own and sometimes don't own, depending on whether you're paying them or taking money from them. It's Livewire. Hey, Harley, I'd like to talk to you about Livewire. We don't own that company. Hey, Harley, I'd like to give you a check for your company called Livewire. Yeah, that's ours. Oh, you got $60 million to give us from the American government? Yeah, the Livewire is our shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you only sold 15 bikes last year and you're in complete failure. That's not us. No, that's not us. That's not Harley. That's not us. No, sir. Not at all. Those assholes have proven that even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Their new motorcycles, Livewire we know is the Livewire. There's also the S2 Mulholland, which is a smaller Livewire. Livewire has decided to just accept the fact that they're getting a shit ton of money from Kymco and just admit that they're bi-curious. Because their bike is about a fucking motor scooter, man. That's all there is to it. Their bike is a motor scooter. This thing is purely a scooter. And I don't think Harley Davidson has made anything that identifies as a scooter since the Harley Topper. Right?
All right.
But when I look at this, it's hard for me to say anything other than, well, that's a scooter.
So wait, which one is what? So you
Well,
got
there's
this like
two different-
exoskeleton fucking ruckus looking
Well,
thing.
there's two different ones, and you might get both if you're not careful.
Right.
Right. These are both using the Del Mar chassis. These are both using the same thing. They're just two different versions.
I'm just amazed that they have upgraded the Vectrix that way.
Dude, they made it. Dude, they did it without calling it. That's a his and hers.
That is his and hers.
If you're a Harley
right.
guy and you fucking finally have your RV, and they're like, well, live wires are dumb, but we can put it on the RV. Oh, look, honey, they make one for you, and then they got a rough one for me.
You cannot convince me that's not a Vectrix.
That is a Judge Dredd transportation system. Is all that is. There is no excuse for that vehicle other than just, well, okay, let's just get curvy.
It looks like the earbuds fell out of it.
It looks like the earbuds. And then the other version is the Honda Big Dog or whatever that damn thing, Bulldog. The Honda Bulldog that we saw 15 years ago that we were like, oh yeah, 250cc Honda, what do they call that thing? A Big Ruckus?
Big Ruckus.
Yeah. But it was a Bulldog and it was this. And it was this, but it had a gas motor. This has an electric motor. And I got to say, I don't hate it.
It's not terrible. I know.
I like this.
I like
that
the
right
rough
there.
one, yeah.
That right there. Okay. All right.
Look at it. It has little pannier holders.
It does.
Oh, it's all 80 feet out.
Oh, it's designed to be a silent ADV.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It has got BW 350 wheels.
Yeah, it does.
Right. It's got all the chonkies. It's got every bit of chonkies. They've managed to put a tire on there that will be completely useless in the mud.
Yeah.
I've never seen a tire. I can hear that tire getting stuck right now.
You know what's crazy? You know, at some point, the designers had double headlights on the front, and then they're like, we can't.
No, we got to go high-low. We got to go high-low.
Yeah.
They were going to put a set of ruckus lights on there.
Yeah.
They should have.
Yeah. Oh,
and they should have called it the E-Ruckus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we would have called it the E-Rectus.
What's another, or what's, and so some people say like, oh, they're making a ruckus up there, but what's another word for ruckus?
A kerfuffle?
Oh, that'd been better.
So the reality is
The
what they
kerfuffle.
made is an electric V-Strom, but with a drop tank. Because that's the new V-Strom.
Oh, that's
They
the
made
ADV 750.
Yeah.
It's Honda's ADV 750 adventure scooter, but electric.
Oh no, it's the ADV ST, and the ST stands for step through.
Oh, there you go.
Go fuck your hat. Like that, seriously, that bike right now.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, man.
I don't hate it. And again, if I paid full price for this, the silence of the vehicle would be drowned out by my hatred of the money I spent.
Well, yeah.
Right? I get it. It's really hard for me to embrace. I rode last week. I rode an electric motorcycle, and I gotta say that riding a marginal Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 was better than riding a 116 pounds-feet of torque electric motorcycle.
Well, it's different. Yeah, it's just different.
Well,
It's like the difference between a Harley and a sport bike and
the
a scooter.
different saying different is the no shit statement of the century.
Well, yeah, of course.
But I'm going to say it was better. I'm going to say it was better to squeeze the dead dinosaurs than it was to wrangle the pixies. Like, I feel like riding, and as much as you guys know, I'm no fan of the Interceptor 650. I believe that it is the TMU version of a W800 Kawasaki, right? I believe that it is the TMU version of a Triumph Bonneville, whatever, right? It is truly like, oh, you wanted a Bonneville, but you could only afford the generic version thereof. And I rode the fuck out of an Interceptor 650 last week. I pinged that thing off the rev limiter way too many times. I cranked it from Porco to my house at maximum chat, teetering on 100 miles per hour the entire way. I never shifted when you're supposed to. I always shifted at the hop, 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 hop point. And it was good. I'm not going to say great. It was good.
Well, that's the thing. Like the audible part of a motorcycle is a very big part of it. Like, I think I committed a felony with the pipe I put on my Tuono.
Yeah.
And I mean, the visceral feeling of that thing.
The public thinks you committed a felony.
Yeah, I'm loving the fuck
You
out of it.
probably just made it better.
Yeah.
Right.
But dude, when like you're fucking on that thing and you got a V4 fucking thing and it's like, okay, if it was electric, I'd have that torque of whatever, you know?
What did Hunter S. Thompson say? Hunter S. Thompson said, that's the song of the sausage creature.
Yeah, dude. It's you fucking hear everything and it's popping and snapping and it makes like everything like it makes what should be dangerous sound dangerous.
Yeah. Oh,
you know? Like
I appreciate the absolute rip your arms out of the socket power that the Zero SRF had and the Zero SRS have and the new Zero DSRX has. It is when you put that thing in sport mode and you let it hunt, it will fucking get you to speed super duper fast.
Oh yeah.
But it does it silently. It does it effortlessly
and smoothly.
It does it smoothly,
which is weird.
And it never scares you.
Power without vibration is weird. It is just a weird
But it's never, there's no point in the relationship where you're like, oh boy, this is going to get away from me.
No.
But I also never feel like any of my Ryobi tools are going to fuck me up.
You know,
right?
Having ridden the proper sausage creature, and having ridden an electric bike, between the two, I'll take the electric bike.
Yeah,
I love the sausage creature. Right. I've owned it, 900 Super Sport.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
but the power delivery and the comfort and everything else of a Zero is amazing.
And when I take a Zero SRS and I turn off all the things, which takes a second. But when I turn off all the things and I just let it hunt, it does wheelie. It actually wheelies really fucking great.
And
it'll turn the back tire into smoke.
Yeah.
It does it really great. It does all those things and it's belt drive and it's quiet.
It's amazing.
And it's reliable.
It's amazing how quickly electric bikes, ones with power, will smoke a back tire. Remember last year at Mid-Ohio to do with the Stark? And it went from... He was like, they're going to start, and it was like from nothing to like melting rubber blowing on people. And
every single time I sell one of my customers a Zero, we go out in the parking lot and I've given them all the tutorial. I've given them the 20-minute spiel And then I say, okay, here we are. I said, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to leave the bike in eco mode because you're new. I'm going to leave the bike in eco mode. I'm going to hold the front brake with my own 2 fingers. I'm just going to 2-finger the front brake. And with no wheel chock, no Quaker steak and lube, no bleach, no burnout pit, I'm going to do something in 1 second that is going to give you all the respect you're ever going to need of how quickly this bike will put you in the hospital in eco mode.
This is truth.
And I hold the front brake and I crack the throttle and the back tire instantly goes from rubber to liquid to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
It crosses all 3 transitions, comes this far short of entering a 4th dimension, and then I back out of it. And the guy just goes, what the fuck was that? And I said, that was a smoky burnout with no clutch, no cheers of applause, no wet t-shirts. It just happened. Just like that. That's how much torque there is in, by the way, the cheapest, lightest, entry-level zero electric motorcycle I can sell you. And you showed up today on a motorcycle that, should you want to make smoke out of the back tire, you need a confidence building in session. You need to have, right? You need to have a pep talk from your friend. You need a Condor wheel chalk. You need a squirty bottle full of some slippery substance, right? Just to turn your back tire into smoke. I just did it in the parking lot on literally a whim.
Having watched
no spotter.
Having watched Dean on a 305 GPZ. Slalom. The rear tire through traffic like it was nothing.
It's nothing.
I really want to see him on like the X.
Electric motorcycles are a very strange thing that most people who ride motorcycles aren't ready for. To tell you that the 3 of them that have been totaled at my shop, that's right, $37,000.
Oh, yeah.
Because people that have motorcycle licenses who showed up riding motorcycles, carrying helmets, decided that an electric motorcycle was too much for them. Right? 3.
Yeah.
That's something you should pay attention to. We were the guys who were with us at the AMA Vintage Days when we did the Zero demo and saw a guy who'd been riding motorcycles for 40 odd years of his life, whiskey throttle a silent motorcycle into a group of spectators. Where he, thank God, only injured 5 people.
But you know what? I think that comes down to the fact that, like, so like when you're on an ice bike, and you hit the gas, you have usually, even with a scooter, you have that moment of. Like you can, things are happening. Wait, I better let off. But with an electric bike, there's nothing. It's just smooth. Oh, fuck, all the power.
Torque is at 0.
Tigers always make a noise before they kill you.
Right.
Gorillas never do.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
A hippo will never growl or let you know it's about to dead you. But they do. And they do that more frequently than tigers do. Tigers make a big show of the whole thing. And they give you ample opportunity to just unfuck the AO. But hippos just straight up murder your ass.
Dude, they're
for
big.
swimming.
I didn't know how big they were until I saw one. They're big motherfuckers.
And they're fast.
Man. Yeah.
But a Zero bike will fucking unsubscribe you from life so fast, you won't know it's coming. Meanwhile, a gasoline-powered motorcycle, from the time you make a bad decision till the tire starts getting weird, is like enough time to get out of the deal. It's enough time to pull the clutch in and basically think about life and the decisions you make.
At some point with the gas bike, the visceral sensations of the bike let you know that you're getting into a dangerous speed. You might be entering a speed and a situation that you might not be prepared for.
Were you at the motorcycle show with us when the guy decided he'd launch one into people?
Oh, at the ramp.
At the IX Center show?
Yeah.
So we were at the IX Center show and we had all these Zero electric motorcycles lined up. And the powers that be were like, we're going to put the keys in the bike so people can turn them on and see the displays and whatever. And I was like, I think that's a really bad idea because these bikes don't let you know before they murder people. They're just silent ninjas, right? They just straight up kill a motherfucker and you don't even know about it. And so we're just having this chat, and all of a sudden, this 120 foot-pounds of torque DSR just decides to launch out of our paddock, like out of our prescribed, 20 by 60 area, and it just launches out into the thoroughfare of people and just straight up misses a lady with a baby carriage by like 16 inches, and instead just straight hate fucks a 40-year-old guy and falls over on its side, rear wheel spinning at about 80 miles an hour at the same time. And I ran over there and grabbed, turned the key off, shut the kill switch. And all of a sudden, the guy from Zero was like, yeah, maybe we better take the keys out of those bikes. I was like,
You think?
you think? Right? I mean, straight up. You think that'd be a good idea? And the weird thing was, like, the motorcycle show.
Oh, yeah.
The ambient noise level in that place is about 96 decibels.
Yeah.
Just ambient, just being there.
Because every time we tried to record anything there, it was always
It's awful.
Fuck, man.
It's awful. It's just awful. Like, you turn the mic on, the mic's already fucking pinning. But when that Zero just jumped out and tried to kill somebody, right? The like Zero's like, I just don't like his shirt. He's got to be fucked. And we were all very surprised. We were all a bit gobsmacked. But that's what a Zero is. That's what electric motorcycles are. Electric motorcycles are literally a weapon that is armed with one in the chamber. Don't point it at anything you don't wish to destroy. Meanwhile, a regular motorcycle, you take Sleepy's Aprilia, is a shit hot, terrifying motorcycle, but he's got a clutch, he's got a kill switch, he's got all kinds of things, including an auditory notification system that alerts the neighborhood when something bad is about to happen.
It's funny. I've owned a lot of fucking bikes over the years, a lot of high powered bikes, all this shit. But the fucking reputation of that bike preceded it so much that it took me like about a month and a half, 2 months of riding it to get used to it enough that I wasn't scared to go out and ride it. Like, I'd have to like build that. I'd be like, okay, is today a day for the Tuono? I think, yeah. And then, I'd be out there just like riding it normally, not in the twisties.
Right.
And I'm like, well, it is just a motorcycle. Look at that. And then I'd get back all confident. And then 2 days later, I'd forget that it was just a normal bike. And I'd still be like, oh, I'm going to take the Tuono. I'll probably take the BMW. That one's a little scary to take out.
So
because the Tuono should have a knob on the top that says groceries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it does. Yeah, you have the modes. If you have it in rain mode, that's like you probably go to the track on. Right. And then if you have it on race mode, that's just like, holy fuck.
You're not good enough.
That's murder.
No.
That's again, that checks to see if your name's on the side of somebody else's truck.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, hang on a second.
All right.
So Joshua Clark says, so in older podcasts when you were still a dealer.
All right.
For Zero.
Yeah.
The conversational electric seemed much more positive, and now it seems a little bit negative in general.
Yes, that's exactly right. If you're a listener, you'll understand that we had a bit of a change of heart with Zero. This is all public. I'll be happy to tell anybody.
And this is the thing. And then another Zimbo 1212. Funny thing is, I found the Zero DSR extremely. Let's see here. I can't read the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Easy to ride. Nothing feels better aggressively exiting a corner than in an electric bike. He's right. Because electric is the linear curve on an electric is straight. Like
it is a light switch.
You get
That's literally the definition of linear, and then the curve is the opposite of linear. There is no linear curve,
it is not a light switch. It is not on off. Right. It literally
that's expo, so you can set the exposition. But linear means straight. Curve means not straight. So a linear curve is fucking. I think you've created infinite energy because it just cancels itself out into a fucking loop.
What's the knob?
Dude, once in a while, cells bump together.
It's a rheostat. It's a fucking rheostat.
It's a rheostat.
It's a potentiometer.
Potentiometer.
Right? I mean, we have the words. Let's use them.
Yeah.
Science is great. The point with electricity is this: that the motor wants to do one thing, and that is to turn super fast right now. Then you have a series of computers involved that are there to help keep you alive.
Right.
If any of those computers fail, you will no longer be alive. But there are other computers behind those computers to say that if those computers fail, we're not going to let the bike do any bike shit. That's how it works. That's fair. And there's nothing wrong with that. The downside is when the people that make the motorcycle go, hey, Are you aware that we can use the information about our clients to generate these things called money?
Yeah.
If we share them with other people, like where the people are going and what they're doing and what kind of trips they're taking and all that information about our clients.
Can you imagine how valuable that'd be?
Can you imagine
what stops motorcycle
valuable that would be?
Dude, where are motorcyclists stopping for snacks? How do we promote to these fucking guys?
Right. How many miles a day are our motorcyclists riding?
I am now getting an ad for Google Pixel Watch 3. Speaking of which,
and if you say 03 more times, you're going to get ads for zeros.
Yeah.
So we know that. And that's where the problem comes in is somebody said, wouldn't it be great if this motorcycle could not rely on the customer to do its updates, could in fact do its updates on its lonesome, without your permission, in the garage, in the middle of the night, without you asking, and run your battery from 93% down to nothing in less than 30 days.
Yeah.
When meanwhile, what they marketed was, hey, you live in Minnesota? We did a test in Minnesota. We proved how good our bikes were in Minnesota. We proved that if you park your bike with 95% on the battery and you go to Florida, which is something everybody does, and you come back from Florida 3 months later, your bike will be at 91%. You've lost 2% in 3 goddamn months because that's a trick that lithium does better than anything else. Yes, you win. Now, somebody else comes in and goes, wouldn't it be great if this motorcycle updated itself 15 times a minute? And that burns electricity. As it opens up a cellular connection, goes out to the internet, looks for updates, and tells the internet what you've been doing, what porn you've been looking at, whatever, how whiskey throttled you are, who fucking cares? But here's what happens is your battery goes from 93% to 20% in 35 goddamn days. But that's not in the owner's manual because the owner's manual is a thumb drive and it's a living document that you got when you bought your motorcycle. But since then, they changed the rules. And you left your motorcycle for 3 months alone like you did last year.
Wait, did you ignore the text that you got from Zero telling you to go and read the 57-page manual again?
I'd feel bad if you did miss that, but you didn't miss that because they didn't fucking send it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They just have storage mode.
They did, John. It's called winter mode.
Yeah.
So if you left your bike unfucking attended for 30 days, the bike went to sleep. And it quit waiting for you to come and turn the bike on.
The biggest problem with EVs, doesn't matter if it's motorcycle or cars in this country, is that the manufacturers of EVs in this country seem determined to destroy EVs because their stupidity.
I just think that it's very simple. You are the product.
Yes, absolutely.
And everything that you do has a value to it. And when a company says, "Hey, we're going to put a cell phone in our electronic device," that says that this cell phone can then help the consumer by getting updates over the air or getting in touch with tech support, no matter where you are. And then somebody else goes, and remember, they can also send us all the information from your cell phone through the app, and we can spy on you for the rest of your life. That's where it failed. Where it failed was my customers that were great customers that enjoyed their bikes went out to their bike one day and their bike was dead. And the Zero said, well, your bike is dead. And I know it's dead. I tried plugging it in, charging it, and it wouldn't charge.
Yeah.
You mean it wouldn't charge? No, it wouldn't charge. Well, it must have been super duper dead. Yeah, I know. I plugged it in for like 3 days and it wouldn't take a charge. Oh, I'm sorry. It's super duper triple dead. Well, great. How do I make it undead? Well, take the batteries out and we'll mail you some new ones. Well, that's good. That's going to be free, right? No, that's $8,000.
Yep.
What do you get when you cross a donkey with a motorcycle? A yum hee-haw.
And that 2 hours and 28 minutes.
So those of you playing the live game got that for free. Anybody under $10?
I think it just died. It died right now at the end.
died? No,
it
died. It says it's still alive. Maybe the camera checked out.
No.
The camera died.
So it must have not been able to keep up with the power. So at the last second, it died.
I think it did because it still says live and it's still counting. So I think maybe that.
right.
Hey, can you guys out there still hear us? Somebody chime in.
Oh, I've got it's not.
Nothing. Nobody.
I've got the circle. It might be Wi-Fi here.
Yeah. Okay.
I went to an emotional wedding the other day.
It was emotional.
Even the cake was in tears.
Hey. Yeah, I think it's dead. I think it just committed suicide.
I'm getting circles here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have. It probably wasn't enough. It probably went down and couldn't keep
I
up
don't even
anymore.
know. I don't know.
Probably a rental unit.
Well,
And you know what?
2.5 hours. It wasn't that bad.
That's not too shabby.
No.
That's not too shabby. So for the folks at home that are playing along with the, people that didn't, the early adopters, they get all the good shit. Yeah. So if you're a late adopter, if you're still at home watching your Betamax and just waiting for things to get truly better, I'm going to tell you, it's good. It paid off because you're going to get the last minute of content that the YouTube people didn't get.
Yeah, fuck them.
Hang on, let's see.
That's how you get fans these days.
Settle down.
So we've been encumbered technology.
Yeah.
We have in fact found out that we're not allowed to go trap and skeet shooting this year because our trap and skeet field is being redone.
But somebody
I don't
mentioned that
believe
there's
that
an
one bit.
indoor place. Yeah.
I don't believe that one.
I agree with John.
I think they're reworking the other range.
Yeah.
But that field has been that.
That field has been that field since the
When are they going
fucking
I was about to say
Apaches
also,
were there.
how many people are patrolling that field at the exact 2 hours that we're there on a Sunday?
We've never seen anybody who wasn't Amish.
No.
So we've seen Libyan guys with automatic 12-gauge shotguns
Yeah.
wasting money, not hitting
With
jack
automated
shit.
bird throwers that were like machine gun esque.
Yeah, we
We
were
collected
there.
1,200 fucking things.
We went over to their bird zone, and I'm going to tell you that the Navy hasn't successfully landed as many birds as they did.
They painted the field orange.
It was amazing how many
And not
untouched
broken.
birds.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'll never buy a bird again. I'll just go where they go and shoot their shit twice. So, but we've also never seen an ODNR guy, a cop, anybody show up and be like, "Hey guys, want to make sure everybody's safe and you're not drinking and shooting each other in the dicks." No, we had like 4 Amish guys on what do they call those? Big wheeled scooters?
Yoder cycles.
Yeah.
Yoder cycles.
Goater cycle.
Exactly 1 Amish power. 0 pedals, 0 chains, just low rider ass with big ass wheels. And they were there. We saw those guys, but we never saw anybody resembling an authority.
No.
And we're just like, John's like, if it flies, it dies. One-handed. Shabang. John is shooting shit from other people's camps, right? And we've never been interfered with by anybody at that particular thing because I think the idea is everybody puts their attention into the pistol and rifle range where there's rules and supervision and shit like that. But the shotgun, the quote hand trap range, which I didn't even know that was what they called it.
Yeah.
They call it the hand trap range, which again might as well be called the hand job range because this is a single person event. You're not going to fuck with anybody else, even though we showed up at the electric monstrosity last year. But I swear to God, if we show up there and we just fucking show up with our gear and shoot shit, I don't think anybody's going to say boo. Now,
plus we got guns.
I mean, if somebody had time to run out there and look and be like, is there in fact a sign that says?
So
you're
I went on the ODNR's Facebook page and I just, clickety, clickety, click. I was like, hey man, not for nothing, but it says that the whole place is under construction until, the year of Yezu 2025. But is the hand trap range, which is nothing more than 9 acres of unused garbage, is that still open as if closed was even a thing they could do? Because the very limited parking area they have does not even have ein chain to keep you from turning around in there.
You could literally just park on the other side of the ditch and walk across it if you had to.
There's barely a ditch.
Unless they're building like a trap house and building like a thing. But
A trap house.
I hope they're not.
I do too. And you know what? If you're going to build a trap house, then you have to build a skeet house.
Yeah.
And I know where Sleepy's going to be. Skeet. I'm convinced that if we just goddamn showed up, nobody'd say boo.
Yeah, I say
but in the interest of being cool, I don't want to invite my nieces and nephews and the other smaller versions of me to show up to break the law.
So what are the rules with tannerite? I'm just asking because
Wait a second. Whoa.
It depends on how much.
This seems like a leap from where we
Hold on a
were.
second.
I was just thinking because I have these big 1200 millimeter drones that I'm gonna fucking just get rid of at some point. So I
Right.
figured we could hang tannerite off of them and make them moving targets.
Yeah.
And then if they
except for when the tannerite goes off,
Well, yeah, but then there'll be another bag on top of it so that as it's falling, that's
Little rabbit
now
gets
the target.
fucked.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
proper fucked.
Let's blow them up,
Proper
man.
fucked.
But I want to video it.
Yeah, you do. I know you do. Oh my God. I thought you were just gonna hang like
No, let's blow shit up.
Stuff from
These
them.
things are taking up space in my garage.
they are.
It's like UFOs. Plus, the FAA was like, "So where are you hangering this?" I'm like, "It's fucking dead. Go fuck your
Hangering?
head." Yeah,
I'm not hangering anything. I crashed that bitch years ago.
I had to have an N number for
Right.
it. So yeah.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
yeah, but let's blow
That's
them
ridiculous.
fuckers up.
Yeah, I do agree. And so somebody said indoor. I have never in my life done indoor skeet or indoor trap. Well, I think it kind of
didn't
would
know
have to
that
be
was a
indoor
thing.
skeet. Yeah, they're opening a place.
Where? Oh, they are.
Yeah, they're
It's
opening a
probably
place.
electric though. It's probably like that engaged
They shoot electric
shooting.
guns?
Yeah,
Virtual
it's-
bullets.
Not real.
It's I guarantee you, it's like
I
the
don't think it
engaged
is.
shit where it's like
Yeah,
people
I know.
pop
It's
up
light.
and it's like
Yeah, it's
and it
light.
makes
Yeah,
a
right.
recoil
Yeah,
and
I
it
get
does
it.
all the things. It's just like a fleshlight.
A Bojangles.
Well, let's do it then.
Oh no, man! If I can't spend at least 18 cents and hear a boom and watch you miss,
I have never had an electric fleshlight. How's that like?
All right, on that note, what is it? Ride something?
oh, ride fast and take chances, people. Hey, John, get us out of here, baby.
Bum, 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 bum.